Hello, guys. Welcome to Tyrex Lounge. This is your host, Mr. Tyrex here.
I'm Grant Harper of The Emotional Guy.
It is Cool Goal 64 here.
And your good dragon lover here once again.
And we're bringing...
I am Marcus of Cosmonaut Variety, here to tell you why Star Wars should be simple and why your opinions suck and mine don't. Also, The Last of Us 2 is good. You guys are just dumb.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. You're banned. You're banned, you cuckboy. It's really Wise Wolf.
Yes.
Well, people already know that. If we wanted to trick them, they should have gotten the symbol first. But you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
What is going on?
I mean, I think I got the picture, so I can use. I think I got the picture, and oh boy, if I this is gonna be fun. Well, I'm not gonna be here very long, guys. So roll my resume. So I'm gonna try and make the most of this. Because in about 30 minutes, I will be gone to watch Wolfman.
Cool.
Yes, because
Okay.
you are our wolf.
All right.
Very nice.
Make sure you be part of your own pack.
Yeah.
So tonight,
I watched Van Helsing, and it was stupid, but it was fun stupid.
I have it on VHS, which I don't own anymore.
that's interesting. Then, so
Tonight we'll be doing the this video, this short thing, and then like Savage Books video on
or Savage Books if you're a Clone Wars fan.
why 2003 Clone Wars series hit different.
So, but we're first doing this part because this is something I requested to do. It is
he requested me doing this
of what used to be the Fiery Joker's top 10 most nostalgic cartoons, which, yeah, like I remember watching a lot of this guy's content back in the day, and while it was back in back in the early 2010s when he made a lot of those top 10 lists, and essentially this one was actually the first time I ever experienced some sort of prequel hate. Like, this is the first time I ever heard someone say anything bad about these movies, and I was like, what? Wait, these movies people hate these movies? And I'm like, ugh, I guess, well, I mean, I was just a kid. Well, maybe what they're saying is right. Maybe.
What user are we going to respond to?
We're responding to this because Cole requested me this one to do first.
It's short,
and then
only
Savage Books, why
minutes.
the Clone Wars series hit different.
No, I mean this video that we're looking at. Is it Watch Mojo or something, or it could be?
No.
It's from
God,
the
not mediocrity.
Relic John.
Now we're smarter than to do Watch Mojo. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, we're not here to lose. Grant, nobody's here to lose that many brain cells.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, though, it's just this is back in 2012 too, when the prequel was pretty strong. So we're doing this little segment on his nostalgic cartoons list.
Star Wars was old.
Nothing against this guy. I still enjoyed a lot of his content, but we're just gonna see what he has to say about Star Wars Clone Wars 03.
Yeah.
Here's
I gotta ask then. I know what Grant's thoughts are on Clone Wars, but what are your thoughts?
My thoughts? Well, my thoughts on the Tartokovsky Clone Wars is I really like it, but I don't love it. Like, I don't consider it like some of the best Star Wars content. I think it's like good for what it is, which is essentially Star Wars meets Samurai Jack.
But more like except if it's more like Samurai Jack, except if it didn't have as much of a plot or characters.
Yeah.
Like, really, it kind of feels like it kind of feels like it was made more as like for people who are fans of Samurai Jack than Star Wars at times. But
just looking at the Mace Windu versus the Super Battle Droid Army.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Watch. Okay, Tyrex, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I actually love the Genndy Tartovsky's Clone Wars. I actually watched it right before Revenge of the Sith came out.
Mm. I wasn't able to back in the day because, well, it aired at certain times when I wasn't watching TV, and the
And
only
then
few times I saw it, it wasn't. I only saw parts of Volume 2 with General Grievous and Dooku training, and then him breaking into the office was the last thing I saw of it before watching Revenge of the Sith. But I wasn't able to watch the whole thing until I got both of them on DVD. And when I watched them at the time, I will say that it was something that got me from start to finish because I was a kid who because of my attention span.
I got Clone Wars Volume 2 and Revenge of the Sith on DVD in Christmas 05.
Sadly, not Volume 1 though. But seriously, nowadays these are hard to come by. But you have the full series are on YouTube. But no, because Disney doesn't know what doesn't realize that Clone Wars is owned by Cartoon Network. They keeps copyright striking the full series on video. So
right,
that's because still they are old. Then what about you, Lover?
I'm so glad I archived them.
I do find it odd that there's still a piece of media of Star Wars that is owned by Cartoon Network, considering the fact that the Dave Filoni was also airing on Cartoon Network before Disney bought the rights, and so they put it on Netflix with the 13 episodes that weren't able to air after season 5, which was when it got canceled. So saying that they claimed it to be their original content, I feel, is also pretty scummy. It's pretty
genuine
because it wasn't.
And also putting the spoilers in front of the thing in Disney Plus, seeing Darth Maul, Bo-Katan.
Yeah, I still, I really hate that they do that because I really don't blame Anomaly for not understanding that was the whole show there.
Yeah, the final season part can confuse the absolute hell out of you. There's also the fact that there's supposed to be a chronological watch order to the Clone Wars.
And it's not even the right, and Disney didn't even get it right either, which is funny.
I mean, there's a thing called production codes and episode list.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
And not to mention, and also, let me tell you my experience of Clone Wars. I used to see a small glimpse of it. I think Volume 1. Volume 1 of Volume on TV when I was a kid. When I was there on Cartoon Network at the time. I don't know which one. I assume the Captain Frodo one. I'm not sure. But,
oh boy, Captain Frodo videos. They're my god, I can't.
But and then I think I saw bits just a tiny bit of Clone Wars when I was 3 years old at the time. I was a very extremely young lad. Keep in mind, I was born in 2000. I'm Gen Z, but I wasn't until I saw bits and pieces of it on YouTube via AMVs, mainly the General Grievous ones, and I saw Volume 2 via Netflix DVD service, and then I enjoyed them, and then recently like earlier this year I revisited Clone Wars via full fat videos, the video essayist guy.
Yeah,
that video is shit. You got to see it to believe it, and because I won't tell you if it's good or bad, but you got to see it to believe it. But I wasn't, and then when it comes to discussion on Clone Wars, and then Emperor and Wolf and I revisited the full series on YouTube before it got struck by Disney for volumes 1 and 2, and they haven't aged well. To be honest, they haven't aged well. I mean, great. I like the MIDI-esque the Pro Logic or Pro Tools / Pro Tools-esque music by James L. Venable and some other guy, I forgot his name, but I had to like the fight choreography, but this hasn't aged well, to be honest. As I mentioned, Matt Lucas's Anakin voice for Clone Wars is a bit laughable.
Oh boy,
I do.
Okay, to very quick point, I was gone for a bit. This July, Grant Emperor Coolman and I, we were all be outside of like, okay, let's watch all three Clone Wars in its entirety. How bad is he? I don't think we spent like hours on it because we were just talking about everything because we're just stopping it and then in particular because of one point, just this one point. And I don't think we were that far away, but I think it was in like volume 1 maybe, where Obi-Wan, where there's a droideka in Obi-Wan. At first we thought he was literally blocking the lightsaber, the blaster bolts with his bare hand.
What? Oh.
Oh my, yeah, I know. I think I've.
That can confuse people.
Yeah, like that stuff is the kind of stuff that, like, essentially they try to explain you can get away with in 2D animation, but it doesn't. But in reality, like them being able to deflect blasters with their hands wouldn't be.
I mean,
possible.
like I mean, like Vader did it to Han Solo's blaster in Empire Strikes Back.
He was using his prosthetic hand.
Yeah,
And
he was blocking it. He wasn't deflecting it back.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's like they established very early on that droidekas they can't they fire way too fast and they are hard to block, much less deflect.
Yeah, I mean it is stupid in a sense, but I mean I kind of like it just because like you wouldn't be able to see that.
I mean there is stuff
life.
that are cool, but it's just like samurai-esque like universe breaking.
Here's the thing: it's like with Genndy, Tartokovsky, Clone Wars, it really prioritizes the rule of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool stuff happens. You don't need to question the logic. Don't question the logic behind it, because otherwise, then you start having problems.
Yeah.
And Mace Windu punching out super battle droids.
Here's the thing: I actually heard.
Okay, well, maybe we should get to this, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll get to it later.
Let's get this show on the road.
Okay. But mind you, I gotta keep pausing this because of Star Wars music.
Yeah, no.
Dang it!
Just as a small heads up, I'm a person who has just recently watched Rick Worley's video on how to watch Star Wars Part 1, the prequels are better than you deserve. So, with all that information I got in mind, I'm probably not going to take all these Plinkett points as lightly, so you've been warned.
But, honestly, I was hesitant on the title because I thought it sounded super pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, oh, this is better.
I never have that thought when watching when I'm looking at the titles, like, okay, and then it's pretty good.
Was Attack of the Clones.
Hold on.
The 3-year wait for Star Wars Episode 3 had begun.
I gotta pause.
Oh, wait, yeah. I think
every sentence, it must be paused.
Why does that keep happening? Freaking remote.
Yeah,
okay, wait. Start back from like 8:25. Sorry, because we weren't ready.
That time
after the utter suckage that was Attack of the Clones.
Oh boy, this is already starting. Wow.
Yeah. I gotta pause every sentence he makes.
Yeah, we know.
Because Star Wars music. Okay, why can't you just play some Pokemon music? Play Gen 3 music.
Yeah, this is from 2012, so he can get away with that.
Yeah, before
right.
This is before John Williams. This is before Disney/John Williams will strike you harder with,
John Williams. Agents.
It will strike you harder, or hit you harder than a tuba at maximum volume.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll get
Warren Chappell too. Warren Chappell and Disney Music Publishing have copyright bots, and they own the rights to Star Wars music. So,
yeah, they will
just breathe John Williams music. They will strike you down faster. You could say Star Wars is my childhood.
And then this video contains copyright from Warren Chappell, Disney Music Publishing, one who had blocked it on copyright grounds. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's do this.
The 3-year wait for Star Wars Episode 3 had begun.
We'll be fine.
Wars were introduced to us, giving countless more opportunities for the series to whore itself for cash.
Oh wow, this already aged well.
Oh my gosh. Taking George Lucas is the corporate money-making machine. In actuality, he wants to escape it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, does George want to make money? Yes, but that's only because but that's as a side effect of creating a good product. He knows that he'll get money, but
usually people who can enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, it's like with Penders. He wants to get paid while being creative.
Yeah, not to mention George Lucas is more interested in experimental film, but with Star Wars in mind, he has no interest in doing storytelling. But this is his baby. He has to flesh it out. He can't just
Yes.
write a story like, oh, okay, we're done over. No, he has to flesh it out even more and consumingly and painstakingly construct it into 2 hour 2 hour per episode of that makes up the 6-part story. Otherwise,
Yes.
it'll be a jumbled mess.
Yes, like that's the way that people like to perceive about these movies is that you have to watch it in release order to get a better experience when that's not how George intended things to be
Mark
watched in
Hamill.
the first place.
Okay, here's why I'd say the definitive watchover is: if you watched the original trilogy before, then you need to watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
But if you're a
Yeah, in
newcomer,
this exact
And-
order.
Yeah,
And don't.
but if you're a newcomer, you've never seen a Star Wars film, then you have to then 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Like I remember being introduced to the original trilogy like after I had seen Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones first, in which I still did get I got the plot twist with 4
Yeah.
and 5, but at the same time I wanted the whole saga, and when I got Revenge of the Sith on DVD, I had 4 of them, but I was like, oh man, I want to know what else happened before, because even though I enjoyed Revenge of the Sith as a child, I was like, I wanted to see the whole story. I wanted to see how it all began. Okay. And because I eventually got the episode 1 and 2 for Christmas, and I was like happy as ever when I got it. And so I
Yeah.
started watching them continuously. And then when I watched Attack of the Clones, I got the full context of everything Okay, well, I'll explain that in a bit. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
I,
And-
I despise the machete order since it's trying to be. It's like, oh, it preserves everything. It's like, no, you're potentially messing with the way people watch things.
Yeah, I actually was shown the original, unaltered original trilogy first.
I was introduced to the prequels first before, and then when I watched episode 2 on VHS, the beginning part of it was not found on the DVD version, and for obvious reason, a segment from Star Wars Connections that was originally shown on TV on Fox, with Star Wars Connections with C-3PO R2-D2, where it breaks down Anakin's journey from the rise and fall and how it became Darth Vader from episodes 1, 2. There's no 3 at the time because this came out before Revenge of the Sith. Then 4, 5, and 6. Granted, yes, I was spoiled. I was been spoiled by those moments within Star Wars Connections with 4, 5, 6. But this is where I was introduced. This and the 1997 special edition VHS re-release of the original trilogy promo on my X-Men the first one, X-Men 2000 X-Men video cassette is what introduced me to the original trilogy. So if anything, I give credit to the prequels for introducing to the original trilogy. And also have which is I now scratched DVD loose DVD copy of Return of the Jedi from 2004 and the bonus material disc. So yippee.
Yeah, and there's us at all. Okay, I did not know what I was introduced to first, but I knew I had all but 6 on DVD. Wanna know why I don't have 6?
Why?
My brother lost the disc.
Ah.
Damn.
Ow!
I would be
That
pissed
must
if
be
that happened to
painful.
me because that's still my favorite. Don't you dare be dissing my damn Return of the Jedi.
That still means I can watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I could never watch 6. But then
That's
I
a damn
lost.
shame.
Then I lost all the discs except till 2018. The only Star Wars disc I had was Revenge of the Sith,
Mm.
and then I lost that.
Ah.
Okay.
That's.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
sorry. And I'm not
Yeah,
going to-
I got the
I'm not gonna-
unaltered I got the unaltered Star Wars films on, and the special editions of VHS.
I have the
Mhm.
I'm mostly trying to sidestep giving Disney money, so I'm having to sail the black flag, unfortunately.
I have the unaltered version of A New Hope, and that's on the 1995 Last Chance to Own full screen VHS copy. And I also have the 1997 original 1997 VHS release of Star Wars, the first of A New Hope special edition. And I have the Phantom Menace, and I have the Phantom Menace on VHS. I have Attack of Clones on VHS too, and I have Revenge of Sith on DVD. And
Right.
I have Revenge of Sith on and the bonus material and the bonus material disc on DVD, but they're scratched. All I'm missing is 5. But I got the chance to see episode 5 not too recently, and here when celebrating its 40th anniversary at my local Regal Cinema. So
I still have the 2004 special edition and the DVD. I think it's like the 2002 and 5 DVD releases of the prequels. Yeah, not the Blu-ray versions, unfortunately, but nevertheless, yeah, it's still in my house. And I also have the Clone Wars theatrical release too, because it was just something I wanted to own to fill in the gap as well.
I don't have
the 03 one though.
I have Star Wars the Clone Wars pilot movie on DVD, single disc edition. Sadly, I should have gotten a 2-disc edition because why bother with 1-disc edition?
I noticed something interesting though when I watched it was that it's an hour and 30 something minutes, but
98 minutes.
But I watched I found deleted scenes of the film on YouTube, and when I watched them, they looked familiar, and I was like, I saw them before, and it was like I learned that they were actually in the theatrical release of the movie, which I do find odd because why would you do that? Why would you not include them Why would you include them in the theaters but not on the DVD? I mean, I guess maybe they were pointless, I guess, but who knows?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I never saw it in theaters, but
I did because I was a big Star Wars fan when I was younger, and it wasn't until the beginning of the 2010s that my interest for it went away, and I moved on to other things. And when I started listening, to people on the internet saying that these are bad movies because, I just saw the way that they critiqued them, and I just thought they were smarter than me, so I just listened.
Same here.
Just like Sonic fans taking classic.
We were all fooled.
Yeah, just like classic, just like Sonic fans who appreciate the adventure and Dark Age eras now have to listen to what these classic fans have to say, and just like Neo Pokemon fans who appreciate Gens 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7, and especially 8 have to listen to Gens 1 fans from Gens 1 and 2. I have to say,
and also when Penders fans have to listen to Flynn fans.
Yep.
I feel like I should just say.
Oh wait! Oh my God! I find a person who hates seeing Flynn.
I feel like I should just say this: just because you think that one person says something, just because you think that they're smarter than you about something, doesn't mean you should just take whatever they're saying as fact. All right? Why don't you go by what you think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In fact, EPG even made a statement on his Mega Man base. It's honest, actual 100% honest review on Mega Man and base. Especially, he responded to people who took Son Company Johnny's quote unquote opinion on Mega Man base as the one and only. And with
very biased, if you ask me.
I got a story actually, and it's exactly related to the subject of when you think someone's smarter than you when they're really not. And here's the thing, Grant. Remember all the way back in June, maybe May.
Yeah, I think back in March or April. I think April.
Yeah. I had troubles getting. Here's the thing. My friend of mine convinced me to watch the rest of this anime, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it all. And wow, this is good. I can't believe people hate this. I'm like, no, people like this. So then I look at this one video by this douche who says it's bad. Now here's the thing. Grant told me that he didn't watch the anime, but he took this guy who said it was bad. I'm like, no. And it's like a lot of things he said was very weird.
DX 619 with a collab with a Draconis.
Yeah. So I watched a bit of his video. I made 1 minute and 30 seconds before I clicked out because I swear to God, it was like I was listening to Blinken.
Chris Tuck.
Yeah, and you don't like Sword Art Online, and yet Draconis is mocking people who like Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it's like when it comes to
Stupid.
Danmachi, he says it's like, "Oh, this is worse than SAO." It's like, no,
What? It's lazy cashing the other ideas. It's very obvious one. It's a ripoff. It's a copy of Sora. No,
Yeah,
it's
it's like-
not.
it's so many weird things.
Ah,
Like, for example,
this guy.
For example, he takes this dwarven character, says he looks like Gimli when he looks nothing like Gimli. It's
Yeah,
just
I
And he
know.
took that,
What?
and
He's
he
just
took
a
that
What a duo
what the
of
thing
cunt
called? He
bags.
called it a Titan, even though it's a Goliath. A Goliath.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like, and he said that there's just an animation inconsistency with how the Goliath, when we first see it, it's like a completely different color scheme than the one when we see at the end. It's like, no, it is clearly stated that this is.
Her dog.
Also, if you guys, sorry guys, if you hear now in the background, I have a dog in here.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happened. That's
You'll
happened
be
before.
hearing my
It's
dog
like they
too.
drank their way through
sometimes.
when watching Danmachi. So,
Yeah, and it's like getting through Dakota's video, getting through DX's video was just stupid because it was horrible because he just seemingly did not understand anything he was watching. He's saying that the characters were flat. I'm like, no, it's like,
What the
oh, you get the
hell?
hair because I'm like, no.
Heck, I'll pretty much make it very, very, very clear here is that I've seen a bunch of people bash on Knight's Journey and Dreams just because it's not like the original or something like that. Or it's just lazy or something. Even though I'd say it's gotten a lot more hold up compared to the more modern Sonic games.
That's the kind of
Definitely.
things. That's the kind of arguments that make me angry. Is that people like try to say that why isn't it like this? Well, maybe because that's the point in the first place. It's not supposed to be like it. You have to watch it with a different mindset than something else that you're comparing it to. Like,
Exactly.
I might inform you guys later on that subject, but why don't we get back to this? We've been
Yeah,
We've
let's
been
get
going.
the bag.
However, what surprised me is that some of the products of the Clone Wars actually turned out to be much better than the prequels.
That's
pretty-
no.
Well, that's pretty
Because
subjective, all right.
You know, here's the thing. He's one of those people that will use Legends to bash George.
yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
sounds like. He sounds like he's
Like-
one of those people who would just use the outside source, who will use the extra source, use the extra material to then bash George and call him a bad writer because he's like, well, this story had this going on. It was way more interesting. I'm like,
It's like Cosmonaut with like trying
The
to
Clone
saying that he wants to replace the Clone Wars with the prequels.
I mean,
no. Okay, the Clone Wars is not a reimagining of the prequels. Okay, it is an expansion of a time period that happens within the prequels. All right, don't take it as something like that and don't say
No.
it's an objective statement. All right, that's all subjectivity.
yeah, and then it's like there's so much. It's like people people will just yay that it's like, oh well, this tells a better story about prequels because it wasn't written by George. Like, just
no,
because
it's not.
like, mind you, didn't the EU like have consistent contradictions?
Yeah.
And when people, I hear like someone ironically say it's like, well, whenever something was out of line, it was immediately retconned. It's like, I don't think that's a praise you should be giving it. That shows that there were people. Because considering how many bad EU books they were compared to all the good ones, because there were certainly good ones, but then there were the bad ones that were having retcons.
Remember Karen Travis, remember Karen Travis and what she did to Mara J's character?
She killed her.
Yeah.
Right, mind you, it's like to kill Mara. She made Timothy mad because he had like a whole book planned for her, and then she just killed her.
I'm not as knowledgeable on the Legends stuff. The only Legends content I grew up with was actually Clone Wars Adventures comics, which were based on this micro series, which I actually read before I watched it too. By the way,
Yeah, I'm more into the Star Wars video games, like Force Unleashed.
Same, man. Well, not the Force Unleashed, actually.
I mean, I probably. I wish I still had them anyway.
If people ask me about Star Wars games, I have to immediately clear up that KOTOR and Force Unleashed was not one of them.
Well,
I play a lot of Star Wars games, so I can tell you that Dark Forces games, the Force Unleashed games, and KOTOR, were not the games I played.
I see. Not to mention, for me, I played Star Wars Battlefront 1, OG Battlefront 1 and 2.
Yeah, same here. I played it with my friends all the time.
I played Star Wars Obi-Wan. I played the Xbox exclusive special edition version of Star Wars Starfighter, not Jedi Starfighter, Starfighter.
I had Starfighter on. That was one of the first Star Wars games I ever owned. Starfighter.
Hmm. I owned the Xbox version of Star Wars Starfire, and also I owned Lego Star Wars. I played the original Lego Star Wars 2 first before I played the original Lego Star Wars the video game.
I got
think I got the greatest hits. PS2 greatest hits version of that game of that game because the Black Label version uses a blue discs. The greatest hits version uses the DVD-ROM discs. Dude, they did that change to address complaints. That Travis Hills to so they can address some complaints that people have with the original Black Label PS2 version of Lego Star Wars the video game. Because blue disc gives PS2 consoles problems. Not to mention, I also played The Force Awakens. My brother Tavis used to play Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, which I unfortunately don't own anymore. And,
I owned it on PS3.
I mean, I had like the first Lego Star Wars. I still have that on PS2, and then I played the second one on PC. And for some reason, I was never able to acquire the Complete Saga. Like I could have gotten it on the Wii, but instead, like I only played one that like my cousin had. That was it. And it's like I still do find it weird that they have Yub Nub at the end of Return of the Jedi in Lego form, which I was like confused me because I don't remember hearing that in the movie. Because I grew up with the special edition with the victory celebration.
Yeah,
and I still think it's better. Honestly,
I remember Yub Nub because I watched Return of the Jedi unaltered on VHS at first.
I don't know which one is the Victory Celebration. I think the Victory Celebration first, and for Lego Star Wars 2, it's Yub Nub came second.
I haven't heard the Victory Celebration until like 2009 when me and my parents and my family in Ocean City watched the Return of the Jedi special editions.
Oh wait a minute! Now I recall.
Spike,
Yeah. Rest in peace, Spike.
Oh yeah, rest in peace. But I know. I was watching that. That was so nice. They had them all Aaron.
Yeah, same. The prequel trilogy, especially Revenge of the Sith.
Oh man, I watched Revenge of the Sith on Spike TV one time back in 2010.
God,
really
those
good.
were the days. Oh
Spike.
man.
Oh man, nostalgia. Let's not get clouded in our minds.
I was just gonna say that I grew up actually with the DS version of the Complete Saga.
And they aired
then
on.
now
it airs on like TBS.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot something. Watching Empire first. In theory, this is not the first time I watched Empire. That was on. I figured that was on Spike. Yeah, Spike for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
The first time watching it was on Spike. So.
That was Spike TV back in the day too. Like, I'm so jealous.
And I think I remember watching The Empire Strikes Back when I was a kid. Some friends relatives house. I can't recall because it's slipping me. Anyway, let's get back to this. Oh God, help me.
Specifically, Star Wars Clone Wars.
Oh God.
Gotta give it a little bit of time before I resume.
I think you'll be fine. It's like blurred. It's
Before the 3D animated Clone Wars series that's currently airing.
Okay,
this was back in 2012 before it got shortly before it got canceled on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it's like that's another thing that makes us outdated. But we're just here for the opinions of the stuff that he's talking about here. Yeah.
There was a 2D animated show about the Clone Wars.
You'll be okay.
This was an interesting series for several reasons. Firstly, the first season's episodes were each about only 4 minutes long.
Yeah. It was bumpers, essentially.
Yeah.
And were shown as cool little vignettes, often shown when other cartoons ended.
And also, right here, Count Dooku's design, like, you can tell that, like, this design was like supposed to be canonized with the 3D series because they took like the same design from it and put it in 3D.
They have the same design.
Which I feel just looks kind of weird compared to it, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just a stylistic.
And Count Dooku in the EU is voiced by Corey Burton.
Yeah, I know. Rest in peace, Christopher Lee. They only had him on the Clone Wars movie, which is a shame because it's Christopher Lee.
Well, he would be expensive to have on television.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is true. It's definitely expensive to have that stuff. But I do like Corey Burton a lot. I feel like he sounds more like a younger version of Count Dooku than like how Christopher Lee sounds in a sense. But yeah, he's still good. I mean, he does a lot of voices on the Clone Wars.
He voiced Captain Hook, and he also voiced Spike in Transformers the movie back in 1986.
Yeah.
You got the power.
Second, if you combined the runtime of every episode in the series, the entire show would only be about 2 hours long.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Well, 2 hours and like 16 or 12 for that matter. It's like that was usually like the runtime for a typical Star Wars movie. Like the longest one is the longest one is The Last Jedi, but let's not talk about that. The longest one was Sith. But yeah, but the original cut being 4 hours is still something that's a hard pill for me to swallow. I always imagine these movies just being only 2 hours and stuff. Like the shortest one is actually A New Hope, even with all like the added changes that extend the runtime a little bit too. It's only 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yeah, it is 2 hours and 12 minutes. I was right. You were right.
Okay.
Let's go.
The average runtime of a feature-length Star Wars film.
Yes.
Yes. And there's Grievous. I will say that I think he does look cool in this show, but I just do think
he's a bit overpowered.
I think he's a little stupidly overpowered.
Yeah. He's the basis for Rey, by the way.
Yeah.
I think his season 2 volume 2 voice is the best one.
Because the season 1 the volume 1 voice, which is rarely used, voiced by I think the same actor,
John
DiMaggio.
Yeah, like
the
that
same
was
actor
an interesting
with
thing.
Jake Dog and Bender. Yeah, he sounds terrible.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like
What
Grievous.
the hell was that?
Also, if you listen to his actual voice unprocessed in one of the promos of Clone Wars, I think he said, "I'll grant you a warrior's death." Yeah,
and this is General Grievous' debut here too.
And in Volume 2, he's voiced the same actor who voiced the O3 incarnation of Kit Fisto. So I forgot his name, but yeah,
I don't remember it either.
So basically, this series was episode 2.5.
Well, at the time, before George decided to write over it with the other series.
With Jay Filoni this time.
Like George himself even like said that it shouldn't be canonized as much.
That's
one of the first things you'll notice about this show is that its animation style is distinctly caricaturing traditional animation.
Animation! What's wrong with story?
Okay.
Are you all right?
I'm all right. And they always do this. They always critique the surface visuals instead of the story and the quoting.
I think he's more or less praising it than rather critiquing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You kind of.
I know, but
I mean, I know this is only a number entry and he has a limited time, but still. Seems like it's just mostly like the same praising stuff that you would hear for
It's basically
other
like,
online critics.
and I'll be clear here. I like to say, now this is a different bit of opinion, but it still has this kind of similarity. It's kind of the opposite with with the series Sonic Boom. I mean, you got some stories, but
you got comedy all around.
Yeah. Is there anything other than that? No? Okay, let's move on.
Okay, then.
Though with some 3D added in for emphasis on movement. Especially in the action-oriented first season, which centered around individual conflicts.
Revenge of the Sith's soundtrack. He's playing the track Star Wars and the Revenge of the Sith.
Oh my God! He's using old man John Williams music.
It's
John Williams is rising from his grave to take this down.
Please don't do this, Disney. Come on, man.
Don't do this, Warren Chappell, please.
Yeah,
This
please.
animation style allowed for many new possibilities for action scenes that you could never see on film.
Yes, that's why it's
because it's animated.
Yes, that's what, and that's the point of animation battles is to look more flashy and over the top than actual real life.
Yep.
Which is why, again, some of its stuff, seems like it would break the universe if they tried to do it that way.
This is the part where I leave, so have fun, guys.
See ya, Wolf.
Okay, bye, have
See you then,
fun.
Wise Wolf.
Maybe next time I'll be on for a full stream.
Bye, Wise Wolf.
Well, yeah, it was good to have you around.
Have fun watching Wolfman.
All right.
Ooh.
Yes, indeed.
For your stream.
All right, let's get back to this.
The best examples of this were Mace Windu's flashy lightsaber and fistfight battle.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Like, if Mace could do that, then why didn't he do that at the Geonosis arena?
I know, exactly,
or against Palpatine.
I mean, well, Palpatine is very powerful, but
I think he can overcome an army like that too. And Genndy Tartokovsky's Clone Wars, like more than few armies.
Along with Kit Fisto's underwater battle.
And they redid that in like the Filoni Clone Wars to look, and I do like that too. The just seeing like them fighting underwater, like I say was like
and never introduce the Aqua battle droids.
Like but I actually do like kind of like their design a little better in this cartoon and then in the 3D one because. I don't know. It's just the design kind of reminds me of a bit of like the droids in Sonic 06 a little bit, like which they're just kind of plain.
How so?
Like they're just white, they're grayish, and they have like big red line is like an eye essentially.
Yeah, and they use that in the Sonic movie, quite similar too.
Let's see.
It's just I feel kind of bland looking compared to other battle droids. Because I was like a kid that was obsessed with like the droid designs more so than like, than like certain designs in the OT. But that was just me.
Complement all of the heroic battles, the first season also featured new villains who
like Dirge and Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, here's an interesting thing about Dirge is that. Yeah, he's a character who, is given Obi-Wan to fight, and he never speaks other than laughing once when Obi-Wan stabs him. Yeah, but we never actually hear him talk, but he only ever talks in the comics and stuff. And, like, when I saw this for the first time, I was kind of disappointed we never get to hear him talk. But I guess that makes it more mysterious at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, I know, like, this isn't... I'm still considering like him canon because like I just prefer to watch like certain edits that fit in with the Filoni series just as like a prologue to it. That's just me.
Its popularity and general effectiveness would lead them to appear in future Star Wars media.
Yes.
Like Asajj Ventress in the 3D Clone Wars.
Oh, and also even in one of the deleted scenes from the Clone Wars movie, she even mentions that I've learned a few tricks from the last time we fought, meaning that she could be referring to their fight on Yavin 4. So it's in a way, I do consider it canon.
One of the villains who debuted in the series was, in fact, General Grievous, who is actually shown to be a calculating, deadly, and extraordinarily cool villain in this show.
This is because this incarnation is based on vague outlines George gave to Genndy because General Grievous wasn't fully finalized yet, and the audio commentary, which I recently on episode 3, which I recently watched with it, George wanted him to be a fair villain. Yes, he wanted to be a coward, but he wanted to be a fair villain. He doesn't want Grievous to be overpowered. Like he wants to be like pretty much an organism within a droid body. Who thinks that 4 arms can immediately outmatch every single Jedi. In reality, because his arms are robotic, it can be cut easily.
Honestly, I'd like to say that like when he first fights those 5 Jedi, I'd like to think to myself, like, it would have been more believable if he was taking them out using certain tactics that were unfair. And then when they started to overwhelm him, he revealed his forearms, and then they were afraid of him. So maybe that's how he was able to best some of them. But him
Genndy Tartokovsky had to rewrite the character a little bit, with Dooku saying it's best for you to run away when George Lucas finalized the character.
Yeah. Right. Let's go.
Before Revenge of the Sith made him into a hammy coward.
Come on.
Hammy coward?
Yeah, Dooku said it's best for you to run away if things get out of hand.
It's best for you to retreat, which is a better term for that matter. Yeah, he's retreating from a battle that he can't win if the Jedi are not overwhelmed by his tactics.
I think you're overestimating.
The second...
Really, George?
Oh, wow. Nice, nice chastising right there.
Genndy Tartokovsky had to write Dooku's lines about General Grievous retreating after Lucas finalized him.
The season was far more character-based than the first, and also had longer episodes.
Yes, it did have longer episodes.
Yeah, the second one's a bit slower than the first, because the first one feels like it's a bit too action packed. Like, we go from one action scene to the next, and people like to harp on like the Clone Wars movie for being nothing but like action scenes with no substance. Well, this show is kind of the same thing, except, well, it's 2D,
like Volume 1.
Only had two plots: an invasion of Coruscant, which further cemented Grievous's badassery, and a spiritual
I'll admit, I do like that chase, actually, with Shaak Ti and the others.
Yeah, that kept me from watching the Clone Wars. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. When I first saw it on television.
And I first saw it on Netflix, I think on AMV's and Netflix DVD service on Volume 2. And does anyone see season 7 of The Clone Wars yet?
I have, yes.
Anyone?
Well, I did a bit with the edit of Revenge of the Sith, that 4-hour.
But really, like, the rest of the season, like, is kind of mediocre in comparison to the last 4, is what people say.
Can't just tinkering it with it. God help me. I mean, to give credit, at least this thing leads up to Revenge of the Sith. Everybody says season 7 is feminism.
Oh gosh,
Ahsoka everywhere.
Well, Ahsoka's a great written character, an example of how to do a well-written, powerful female correctly without making her a Mary Sue.
Shame that the promotional images in the poster for season 7 is misleading.
Like, Rebels showed her like she can't win against Vader.
Well, I think that last shot, like, where you could see her like walking out, is her actually being saved by Ezra, but I don't know, honestly. Okay, well, that's a little too far ahead. Let's I haven't watched Rebels yet, but nevertheless,
me neither.
On the planet Nelvon, which results in Anakin seeing a pretty foreboding vision of the future.
Yeah, like, that terrified me.
Get credit, at least has nice animation, that part.
Yeah, I know. That part I do feel was pretty powerful emotionally. I do think it's a better handling of what Anakin's becoming rather than what they did in the 3D Clone Wars, where they just show the future of what will happen and then just show Vader in the background. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of not subtle there.
No.
This leads to one of the things I like best about this series. Its writing. Aside from us actually seeing more of the inner workings of the Jedi, they actually managed to make whiny Anakin Skywalker into the character he was meant to be.
Okay, he's still whiny, though.
Yep. Yes.
Again, the character he was meant to be portrayed as. Again, just more dictating what Star Wars should and shouldn't be. Oh, why Anakin wasn't supposed to be this way. He was supposed to be he was supposed to be a big friend and everything. And
like
and
Star
everything.
Wars only said like Vader's badass.
This is what Pastor
he's
Film
not badass.
This is what Pastor Television and Film crews on.
Yeah, whiny Anakin too. He's actually pretty whiny in the first volume, I must say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and people say that Matt Lucas definitely sounds even whiny. Some people say he's even whinier than Hayden Christensen, which, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, his voice is a little higher pitched, but I do like it because it does sound pretty close to Hayden.
And the other Matt for the Clone Wars.
Well, I mean, I like Matt Lantern. I do like him, but he just feels a little too different sounding than the others.
Basically, yeah.
In Clone Wars, Anakin is actually shown as a capable strategist and fighter.
Well, he develops.
Yes, he develops.
Mm-hmm.
Has a much more believable friendship dynamic with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, again, that's the kind of stuff. Oh, Obi-Wan never listens. He's jealous. He's holding me back.
So Obi-Wan's fault. Yeah, I don't
Okay, well, yeah. It's just how George didn't want him to be like, he didn't want him to be like the most friendliest and the most Mary Sue-esque, because that wouldn't be the right way to do it.
He's gifted. He's James Dean-esque. He's not only is he immature, because he's always because the Jedi Council pretty much hesitant on allowing Anakin to be trained because he's too old to train to become a Jedi. Like, Anakin wants more than what the Jedi Council is giving him.
Essentially, yeah. He's raised in a way to be calm and emotionless in the Jedi Order, but even though he still has an attachment to his mother, and when his mother dies, he goes in a frenzy and murders all of them, and is confused about his emotions, and that's what turns him to the dark side.
And actually displays a more tender, believable, and decidedly less creepy relationship with Padme.
And he's doing the exact same thing.
A more tender and believable relationship that's less creepy. And I also like how he says less creepy as he shows Anakin creepily putting his robotic arm around the
guys. When Cool Man, Wolf, Emperor, and I reacted to the full series of Clone Wars 2003, we cringed at those moments between Anakin and Padme. I
feel like, it's almost no different here, but again, their love is not supposed to be tender, and it's not supposed to be it's supposed to be awkward, because they come from two different backgrounds. She's raised as a young queen to be calm and stoic. He's raised from being a slave to becoming a Jedi Padawan who has to be trained he has to be calm and stoic as well, but
I can't handle it because of the emotions. Not to mention leaving his mother behind.
Yes, he's trained not to have attachments too, which is, of course, what leads to his downfall because of that.
Also, and I also hate to say this, and I'm going to get off like saying this. Why in season 7? Why Anakin meets hologrammed Padme, who's actually pregnant, especially considering the fact that in Revenge of the Sith, Padme reveals to Anakin that she's pregnant. Like, that's
a plot hole. Like,
I mean, to give her credit, at least it didn't show her pregnancy, show her being pregnant yet.
I mean, okay, maybe Anakin didn't notice that she was pregnant, but still, that just makes things seem all the more glaring. Like,
a woman's stomach grows.
Did these people who wrote season 7 even?
Like, that's just my biggest problem with with both of these Clone Wars series,
Yeah.
that while they are good bridges and they tell good stories a lot of the time, there are certain things in them that just feel like they contradict or retcon like the movies that they're supposed to be canon with.
I was thinking the same way. Cole. Because of the stupid flame wars during AI Core, I have no choice to say, look. I'm objectively labeling both of these shows as average. You want to know why? It's because I'm sick and tired of you bitching about Grievous, bitching about the Lord, the launching, everything. I just want to say they are average at best.
And if anything, I'm just mainly on the confusion side.
To the lore, the prequels, and the EU. Did they good and bad things to the lore, the prequels, and the EU? But there is no good or bad. It's just average. It did good and bad things.
Really, yeah, it's like just a love. I just have a love-hate relationship. But like, there's things in it that I really like a lot, and I feel like they really expand on the prequels era. And I really like Ahsoka a lot as a character, but I just can't see her fitting in with like the main storyline. Like, because Anakin, the way that Anakin talks in Revenge of the Sith makes it clear that he doesn't have a Padawan.
Yeah, and not to mention, and dare I be a hypocrite in this one, I grew up with the Clone Wars even more than Clone Wars 2003. Clone Wars 2003, as a 3-year-old kid, saw a glimpse of it. I think the Captain Frodo segment from Volume 1, and wasn't until I was introduced, Volume 2 what introduced me to fully introduce me to Clone Wars 2003, and yes, unless you count the YouTube AMVs. But the real me, in terms of Clone Wars lore, is the Clone Wars, the theatrical pilot movie, and the show itself. But not season 6. Unfortunately, I never got into it, and fuck season 7.
Well, I mean, season 7 could have been a little better if maybe they had used the Crystal Crisis on Utapau arc and the Son of Dathomir arc. Like, I would have preferred if it was 15 instead of 12 episodes.
Yeah. Also,
probably because Kathleen Kennedy was involved.
Why is Grievous only in one shot? You could just tell a much better. You could spend all this time a much better interpretation about, of course, include Grievous' capture of Palpatine. But no,
it's only briefly mentioned by Obi-Wan.
You mean, to give credit to 03, at least it showed you that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's another thing that I say has that the 03 series does a little better, is show the transition in terms of the storyline. That leads into the movies.
There were like a couple people who did like 4-hour edits of Revenge of the Sith, and they include like this Clone Wars, the Dave Filoni, and Revenge of the Sith, and the entirety of the Battle of Coruscant. Like, yeah, I like how these people make canon edits where they edit like the Battle of Coruscant to be going on during like that episode of the Clone Wars, and then they make the Nelvin stuff actually separate. Like, they edit it out between, like, because in this series it's supposed to be happening while the Battle of Coruscant is happening and Grievous is capturing Palpatine.
Yeah.
So yeah, they edit it to make it seem like just a separate storyline.
So what's the point, Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni? If you want to link up to Revenge of the Sith, what the fuck is the point of cutting out of a Asian male love interest for Ahsoka? What's the point in favor of these two feminist shaved Skrillex hair?
And it could have been cut down to 3 episodes. Like, the third episode of the arc literally starts with them in the cell and then ends with them in the cell. It's bullshit.
Not to mention the Bad Batch it doesn't leave a lasting impression on me. I'm sorry, but what's the point? What's the point of creating a final season if you got another segment to tell? The Battle of Coruscant. That's supposed to lead to Revenge of the Sith. No. We're going to move past that because we're going to have Ahsoka battle Darth Maul because because fan service. Not to mention quietly link up to Palpatine dueling the other Jedi, take out Jedi pretty quickly, and not to mention and Fang seeing off Miss Windu at the same time. So, and also not to mention in season 6 when Young envisions like a future where he sees the other Jedi getting killed.
Yeah.
When basically confronting Chancellor confronting Sidious. For some reason, the deleted scene where show the Anakin kills Jacques T, they inserted that in. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm like,
why? I mean, Jacques T is basically mindset. It's basically mindless ex machina at this point, missing in action. Ex machina, Maya ex machina, the ex machina. Not to mention, Eve Comp. And I remember Wolf and I and you and Emperor and I reacted to a retarded ass video. I forgot what it is, but as Eve, they even called out Flint. To give credit, he at least called out Flint on this because the other people in charge of EU told Flint Filoni like, no, you cannot resurrect Ian Comp for this episode related to Joe Grievous. You cannot resurrect Ian Comp. He is dead. He got killed during Battle of Geonosis on a dropship.
oh wow.
See that explosion? You can't use Ian Comp. He's dead. What's funny about it is, but since George Lucas already allowed Filoni to get away with it, it's funny thing enough. Look, Eve Comp wasn't dead resurrection once. It resurrected twice. The first part being in Volume 2 of Clone Wars. That when Jedi are still discussing about Anakin's being
really?
Jedi Knight.
I thought it was like the whole time. I thought it was the other one of that species that goes with Mace Windu.
What's that other Zabok's names?
I don't remember.
But he even said like you could have used this Zabok's whatever his name is because they're literally the exact same goddamn character. And Emperor Wolf and I like they call us like racists. Racist. He's literally the exact same goddamn character.
And we never even see him again.
Agent Kolar, that's right, Agent Kolar. They could have used Agent Kolar. They're literally the exact same goddamn character. Racist.
Like, yeah, they never use him again. I mean, like, okay, this is my subjective point of view, but in the episode Grievous Intrigue, yeah, I actually would have liked it if maybe while they were trying to escape, he actually killed Adi Gallia. And in the episode where Obi-Wan confronts Maul and Savage on that planet, it was Eve Koth fighting with him, and he gets killed by Savage Opress.
I mean, I was like, why couldn't they? And also when the episode when Eve Koth gets captured by Grievous, but why could you just use Agent Kolar? Granted, yeah, it sounds a bit racist, but why could you use Agent Kolar? Because Eve Koth was killed. That's why Eve Koth's own fate has been retconned once in Clone Wars in Volume 2. So
it's just a mess. They just wanted to resurrect him anyway.
This crazy EU is broken. I mean, no offense to the people who like the EU, but this is Christ. So many offers and writers. Holy shit. Anyway, let's press on.
Yeah, let's press on. I'm sticking tired of this.
To say the least, it's a far cry from this.
I will be the most
contact
powerful Jedi I have. He's holding me back.
Yes, Anakin. You chew that scenery.
Chew it till there's nothing left to take seriously. And yet you're cutting context out.
Also,
Anakin just lost his mother. He just slaughtered a whole a village of Tusken Raiders. He's angry and upset. How else is he supposed to react?
Yeah.
Another part he cut off after say, I should be the most powerful Jedi ever. You promised me. I was going to stop people from dying.
Yes, which also reflects back to Revenge of the Sith when Sidious tells him about the tale of Plagueis and how he could stop others from dying. That's how he falls for Palpatine's manipulation there.
Before that, before this part right here, he said it's all. He blames Obi-Wan because he's jealous, and then after that, he marks his rage against Tusken Raiders on slaughter on Tusken Raiders. And after that, Palpatine said to be angry is to be human, and Anakin responds, "I'm a Jedi. I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this."
Yes. See, and I mean, I do think her reaction is kind of silly. Like she just takes all that so lightly.
Tusken Raiders. God help me. Press on.
Sorry to interrupt.
Even if you aren't a huge Star Wars fan, this series has plenty to like.
Oh God.
What?
No.
Wait, you're recommending it to people who don't even like Star Wars?
Oh.
That would be like
powerful Jedi ever. He's holding me back.
Oh, easy now, easy.
I'm pausing it because I don't want John Williams to get copyrighted.
You clicked back.
Even if you aren't a huge Star Wars fan, this series has plenty to like.
Okay, that's like me recommending, hey, even if you're not a big DC fan, watch the Justice League animated show.
Oh yeah, it's like saying game apologists would say, if you're not a Sonic fan, why not read the IDW comics? You'll like that.
Flynn's Archie comics, the Flynn contributions. It's come
Yep.
160.
Now it's,
Jesus Christ.
Ty, you pretty much mentioned
action-
how much you actually liked a bit of the work, mainly the Iron Domain.
mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ,
This
fans.
is downright exciting. The characters and villains are Star Wars classics, and
Well, classics in a certain sense that, yeah, they're well known.
the writing was top notch.
Okay, that is entirely subjective, all right?
Yeah, it's debatable.
In my subjective opinion.
I haven't seen the 3D series, and I hear it.
I've seen episodes of it, but
Yep.
not the whole thing.
Yeah, Cad Bane I still like Cad Bane a lot.
So long,
too. But the original Clone Wars cartoon is a definite must-see.
Unless you're not a Star
now
Wars fan.
onto the main video.
Wow, just
yikes.
literally everything that this man has said in this has just not aged well. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, this
But-
won't drag on with so many freaking pauses now because there's no John Williams. Hopefully, there's no John Williams music.
I hope to God, please no.
Oh, Dragon, you still with us?
I don't hear. I hear a video going on in the background.
Huh.
Okay, Savage books. Let's see why the Clone Wars 2003 hits different.
Also, before we start, I forgot to mention what EPG said in its Mega Man and base review. I wish Wolf would have been here, but I just want to emphasize that just because one reviewer, some common John included, said that the game or movie, anime, or TV show is immediately frustrating or it's great, doesn't make it a proven fact now and for all time. A reviewer's opinion is just that, an opinion, and will most certainly will be because this game, TV show, movie, or anime has a lot going for this individual. But you should never, ever let any other person, including some Commie Johnny, regular media, Cosmonaut, and especially DX 619, decide or dictate or decide your own opinions for you. Whether it's me, Tyrex, Dragon, Kuko, Wolf, Emperor, Cool Man, or anybody else. As long as you give this show, anime, movie, or game an honest, fair shot and can argue your case, then we'll come into a nice conclusion and not just some retarded ass rage bait of the age.
Very nice, thank you.
Yes. Great
All right,
point
let's
you
press
have here.
onward.
Mm-hmm.
Let's watch Savage books. Spoilers for like all
Something
Star
like
Wars.
that. It's coarse, rough, and irritating.
Oh
You get
god.
that?
Using it out of context.
but not like here. Everything's soft and smooth. Also, I love the water. Stargazing.
Yes, and they're star-crossed lovers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Titanic.
it's so mean that you could just use it out of context to hate the prequels.
These no wonder Mike reviewed Titanic. Mike Stocklossa. No wonder you reviewed Titanic. Stargazing. Does it exist?
Yeah.
Just big sigh is all I have to say. This.
Yeah, George Lucas had a lot of inspiration of William Shakespeare.
And movies from the Golden Age, such as classic Casablanca.
Star Wars has kind of been a mess for a while.
All right,
George
stop
Lucas
right
is-
there.
What? Star Wars has been a mess since 2012.
Actually,
Star
no,
Wars has
it's
been a mess only because the internet exists. All right.
Actually, so basically, Star Wars is a mess since no. Star Wars has been a mess. Granted, yes, the mainstream media kept bitching about Jar Jar's racist or Jamaican. Yeah, they really got and yes, granted, confused Matthew reviews came out before Red Media, but the one that got the ball rolling
Retarded
is
Matthew.
Red Letter Media. Star Wars: A Phantom Menace was the most disappointing thing. Yes, Star Wars is pretty much now in ruin. Back since 2009, thanks to this stupid ass, outdated, and criminally overrated reviews. Because nitpicking and praising service visual is what makes a true critic. No, it is not. You are not film historians, so why not become a film historian and understand and watch behind the scenes and don't take them out of context. It's all the CGI. No, there's more than CGI. Got miniatures. Without the prequels, and this is funny. People bitching about the visual effects in the prequels, yet they have no problem with other digital amazing visual effects for the Lord of the Rings films. Plain hypocrisy. Look, without the Lord of the Rings and the prequels, and even the movies slightly before the prequels, that revolutionized visual effects, including Blade Runner, mind you, yes, it's 1902 film, but still, they will never be the MCU. They'll never be any movies that are inspired by any of these movies that revolutionize visual effects and the visual effects artists, dead or alive.
I'm gonna say this: Thanos probably wouldn't look as good as he does if it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. Why does the MCU exist? These right here.
It was
the prequels.
Mm-hmm. But no. We got no. The prequels are garbage. They look dated. They look like video game cutscenes. They look like PS2 game. But can you stop with the PS2 game argument? Just because PS2 has a weaker specs does not mean the original OG Xbox and the GameCube and especially the Dreamcast and 6th generation PC have great graphics either. They start to become dated over time when new technology increases.
There's fucking Phantom Menace on PlayStation 1. There's Revenge of the Sith on PS2, Xbox.
Oh yeah, that game is. I remember watching my friend play that. That was awesome, actually.
Mm-hmm. I have the game on the PS2. Great hits.
Oh yeah.
It's a
6th generation cutscene. 6th generation cutscene.
And they also had the same actors from the 03 Clone Wars in it too. Which was awesome.
And plus, they
James
made
Arnold
2 spin-offs, and plus they made 2 spin-off games for Phantom Menace, Racer and Jedi Power Battles.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which we played and I did enjoy, but I've never played the Racer.
I play with Cole like on the Dreamcast with my Dreamcast.
Yeah,
I think it's on Steam. Is it on Steam? Episode 1 Racer.
I think so. I'm just gonna burn it on the Dreamcast CD, on a blank CD for my Dreamcast.
Okay,
it's cheaper.
One of the best big picture storytellers.
Yeah, consider if I think
on the
Dreamcast
planet.
games are now expensive.
I can't tell you how many of my clients have modeled their scripts and novels after his lore, world building, and sprawling intergalactic history. But
That's a real essay voice. It's all calm. It's all right. It's all right. I'll It's okay. It's okay. It's a Star Wars Clone Wars is one of the greatest examples of tier stars at its finest. That pretty much that outsmarts the prequels because the
It's
prequels have terrible dialogue. You get the point I make.
it's similar to The Last Jedi subverts our
Oh God, that was creepy.
Dragon, are you still with us?
Yeah, I am still here.
Finally, hug.
Don't you just hate these kinds of videos that where they have to speak in such a stoic voice, like what they're saying is really
Enough
official and
of
stuff?
voice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, except Cosmonaut's the most punchable one.
Yep.
Well, but he's more like he's just more of like the kind that just goes by what he thinks, except well, his logic is shit anyway.
And
Pretty much.
Also, do you also found funny when looking back at Mo is now dated on criticism against video essay users, video essay YouTubers. When I hear this from him on the video game side, Super Bunny Hop and Matthew Matosis were some of the pillars that end up fostering and creating the people like Downward Thrust and Clean Prince Gaming. On the movie side, we got everything putting and listening screenplay also acts as basis for people like for creation of pop culture detective and just right. Every time I think about it, it always reminds me of internet critics being inspired by other critics. For example, AVGN and Nostalgia Critic were some of the pillars that end up fostering people like the Unusual Suspect and Some Call Me Johnny, Red Letter Media, and especially other and Chris Stuckman were some of the bases for end up fostering people like let's see here, Oliver Harper, Ralph the Movie Maker, etc., and the Flick Pick. The initial channels keep on trucking or fall by the wayside, but these new ones that copy the style, the voice, the edited titles, the opinions themselves, regurgitation at its finest. Oh, don't forget, Oliver. Also in terms of rarely me inspiration for, and it comes to prequels as opinions, Oliver Harper. So, but also, I think I said this in the now delete stream for Dumbsville's video. Sorry for this little spoiler there, but Emperor told me that he watched Oliver Harper's prequel commentaries and they were trash, but Oliver got rid of them. I think my conversation against Oliver Harper and the mods in his Discord server has something to do with it, but I think I said that in the Cosmonaut stream. I'm losing my memory here. It's not like I'm in a mental decline or anything, but.
Speaking of Dumbsville, we did have a video response on a Dumbsville video before, but there was a bit of a mishap.
Yeah.
But in that deleted video, rest in peace, by accident. But I gave Dumbsville a word of advice in an honest and most fair and most calmest manner. I wasn't angry. I mean, I really want to get angry, but it's really, especially the fact something this small. Is it necessary to get angry over it? No, I'll just keep it low, and just you take it as like a buddy or like a kuhai with trying to give a senpai.
Yeah, and let's be honest, here, Dumbsville's not a bad guy. Okay.
No. Yeah, we're not here to trash on him either.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe Dumbsville is my senpai. Heck, even some of my videos are inspired by Dumbsville. My April Fool's video and my one of my shitpost videos. So,
heck, you like using the phrase he uses.
was it? Oh yeah, right. But Dumbsville, but Grant, but Dumbsville, but Grant, Granny is shit. And I'll never favorite. Oh, yikes. I can't help it, but I can't resist. Oh, yikes.
My favorite joke he's made is like when he's trying to kill himself with the Sonichu, and he's like, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna see you all in heaven, not hell, because I listen to Kanye West."
Oh yeah, and you recorded a video of me with the Obi-Wan action.
Oh right,
figure.
yeah, I did.
if I need to do, I can't envision my head at that moment in this first Sanchi review video, at that moment, like, hey guys, these dubs, I'm thinking about committing suicide. I can't help to think this would be a perfect reaction to, like, say, a prequel fan reacting to what Dubsville's shitty take on the prequel, shitty regurgitated take on the prequels, like, and they are garbage. Hey guys, it's me, the Chad Dubsville. I like the prequels, and what I'm seeing here, it makes me want to kill myself. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Exists.
All right, let's go on with here now.
Fact. George Lucas has a gaping, sarlacc-sized hole in his ability to write small-scale storytelling, such as dialogue.
Sand.
Oh,
Using it you're using it out of context. Like, pay
people.
attention.
Can anyone who's like trashing George for his supposed shit dialogue, can they actually just, for goddamn once, just provide a halfway decent example of objectively bad dialogue, just instead of just resorting to the sand quote for like the fucking 100th time?
Okay, Brian,
I'll just pretty much say it clearly here. So in the context, it's just weird, okay? Some of the dialogue can be just weird.
Yeah, but if you pay attention to the context, you'll get it.
Yes, that's like
Because
the
it
word
plays
that
like
everyone ignores.
it plays like a silent movie. You don't have to rely on the dialogue all the time. You can always rely on the visuals. Granted, from a person who cares more now cares more about story than visuals, it sounds hypocritical. But when you think about it, especially if you listen to commentaries for the prequels and original trilogy, of which what George Lucas was trying to represent in terms of trying to tell a story in a visual narrative, hence he's a visual filmmaker, hence why he's more experimental than a casual literate filmmaker. It makes sense. It plays out like a silent movie. Sure, you can watch a movie with dialogue, but he always recommends like watching it without the dialogue. Not to mention, he even says that he's very keen on the soundtrack, which I found a bit slightly hypocritical, especially in the original trilogy, where it's like you got certain moments where it's like no, like it either like has no music at all, or just have, or John was did compose music for certain scenes, mainly the Darth Vader's trap scene, Luke versus Vader at the classic processing vein.
Yeah,
where it has no for the first part of the carbon fusing chamber, where it has no, it was just music written for it, but it's never used for tension. But
right. I do feel like it fits with that moment.
But the music doesn't come to play until track the Clash Lightsaber plays like during the duel between Luke and Vader in the processing vein control room.
Right.
So,
and I will say this.
I'll be edited.
Yeah, I don't think the dialogue is bad per se. I just think it's different. It's different dialogue than what you'd say to hear in like real life, essentially, or something in like the MCU. Like I see it as different because, well, it's a galaxy far, far away. It's not like these people in this universe are supposed to talk like a modern human being that's like chatting on the phone or something.
No.
And also
like those corporate dipshits at Disney did.
And also, like, George himself even said that he is not a fan of, he doesn't like exposition. He doesn't like heavy exposition and stuff, but he has to make certain scenes that do have a lot of exposition, but he has to make them visually interesting. Like, for say the dinner scene in The Phantom Menace, where he has Jar Jar like doing the licking the fruits and Qui-Gon going, "Don't do that again."
The prequels are garbage and it's terrible dialogue. The original trilogy is the best. It should be simple. Look. Compared to dialogical. Yeah, I know it's not a word. Dialogical language. Let's say alien. Let's say the alien film, like the alien films, aliens. Actually, no. Just leave it to aliens. The sequels are a lot to be desired, but and I should show sympathy for the third movie, Alien 3. But compared to dialogical language between alien and aliens to the original trilogy and like the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, they are in terms of dialogue and tone and the visual language of what's trying to tell its audience, they are vastly different.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's also the thing. That's also one of the biggest problems when people criticize these films, because they like to think of them as because they want to associate them as being the same as the OT, when that's not the point in the first place. The prequel
No.
trilogy is a vastly different story with a vastly different
It's
setting
back.
and everything.
And it's more tragic too.
There has to be like a different, you have to have a different mindset to judge these films. And I'm going to provide like a little story of like having the right mindset to judge a film. So
Right
me
frame
and my
of mind.
parents me and my parents watched this film called The Witch. It's a horror movie that takes place in the 1600s, and the people in that movie speak in like this older language that's like kind of hard to understand. And yeah, we kind of didn't follow along with it because of that. And despite only being like an hour and a half, it was a pretty slow movie. And really, by the end of it, we were just like, that was just meh. But that was because we weren't judging it with the right mindset. I feel like the movie is not supposed to be like a typical popcorn flick in anything. It's a very slow and foreboding movie that takes place in an entirely different time period where, yeah, humans think and act differently. And it's essentially like trying to be much more kind of realistic. Well, I mean, it's a film involving witches, so that's not the case. But in the context of it all, it's like, yeah, it's supposed to feel more organic in that time period.
Also, speaking of this, and this can be applied to my experiences when it comes to film, my experience on listening to film music. When it comes to like film scores of like the late James Horner, may he rest in peace. Like I've listened to his synth scores, like mainly vibes. I don't know if anyone talks about that film. That film's a bomb. But it stars Cyndi Lauper and Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, but the synth score by James Horner. I first I was like, what the fuck is this? And over time, over time, I listened and I re-listened to it in full. Like, okay, I'm starting to get used to it, but it's not good. I don't have the right frame of mind, but at least it's serviceable, and that can be said to Basil Bodoris. May he also rest in peace. With scores like Red Dawn and Flesh and Blood. I was expecting, oh yeah, Red Dawn. This is the action movie. This is like a military. I forgot what genre this is, but it's a bit action oriented. But oh yeah, yes, action score. Hell yeah! And then when I listened to it, I was like, what? And saying could believe saying Flesh and Blood's like, that's okay. It's mediocre. It's just that I wasn't in the right frame of mind, because my frame of mind currently, in terms of film music, it is previously it used to be about the themes, but now thanks to scores like Ricochet by Alan Silvestri and Die Hard by Michael Kamen, my right frame of mind is basically actually oriented score from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s with heaviest amounts of percussion. Mainly my favorite percussion when it comes to film music, concert toms and tenor drums and tune drums. But I don't. But when I try listening to scores, that usually has some more lack to it. It's like, because I wasn't in the right frame of mind. And then I realized, okay. I realized that, just lay my expectations. I was just setting my expectations too high. I have to keep them low next time after I listen to something different. A different film score. So,
or creating names, such as this shady drug dealer literally being named, and I'm not making this up, Ellen Sleaze Bagano. And honestly, even past George Lucas, Star
Hey,
Wars
you
as
wanna
a
buy
whole
some
has
death
had
sticks?
considerable problems with the micro elements of storytelling. The plots and events taking place within the movies are so grandiose and vastly nonsensical that I was able to make nearly an hour-long video on the shortcomings of just Episode 9.
Should we watch it? Oh no, wait, no, never mind. We're talking about Clone Wars here, but I don't want this thing to get covered, because what's the point?
I got work tomorrow, so.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
back. Just had to use the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
And honestly, that video could have been 5 times as long and still not have gotten through everything. A lot of people say Star Wars peaked at Episode 5, which embarrassingly for the series came out 4 decades ago.
Well,
a
those
general
people are
consensus.
clowns.
Yeah, and it came out with mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
not to
time.
mention was a film that was saved in the edit.
Also, even yes, I also watched the rest of Oliver Harper's retrospective on the film. He even too says it received mixed reviews. But yeah, still Oliver Harper's a fucking OT fanboy. So
Like, but in all seriousness, I really do hate this kind of elitist mentality where Star Wars has never peaked since The Empire Strikes Back. Like, it's an objective statement.
And also, Cosmonaut says this. No big surprise.
Yeah, but and he claims himself to be a big fucking Star Wars shit.
no, he's not. He's a soy boy. He's just basically this big a person who isn't really into Star Wars to begin with. He just jumping on the bandwagon. Also, not to mention, there's a reason why Rick Roy put episode 5 at number 6 because not only did Irvin Kershner break away the George Lucas's intention in terms of like the camera movements, the cinematography and stuff, but also not to keep in mind the movie it could have tanked, it could have killed the entire franchise. Not to mention the views, like we said, are very mixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Like essentially. Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is only regarded the best because of what the time period it came out when.
Not to mention it's dark and gritty, No, it's not.
Look at Revenge of the Sith takes that.
Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion, takes that and times it by like 5 at least.
People say it's dark gritty all because of this duel, bruh. This duel is overrated. I saw it in theaters, and holy shit, it is.
Episode 3 with the Jedi Purge, the formation of the Galactic Empire, Anakin being burned.
Like, yes, that's a lot to take. It's essentially a plotline that feels like it should be split into 2 movies for that.
And people dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Order 66 is still one of the saddest moments, regardless of whether or not you know who these characters are being killed are. Like, that's why the Clone Wars
Empire Strikes Back doesn't show like any main characters dying, while Revenge of the Sith shows main character. The prequels show main characters dying
and supporting and minor characters dying. No! It's cartoony crap. This is a man's movie right here. This is a man's movie.
And it's not anticlimactic or forceful like the sequel trilogy was.
Seriously, why would anyone assume it's manly, even though it's for a variety of audience?
Yeah, or feministically, if it comes to sequel trilogy, it's boys and girls. Boys and girls enjoy Star Wars, and that's okay.
Like, I just feel like Star Wars was always been, and Star Wars is and it will always be a saga, a 6-film saga, not just a trilogy, not a nonology is a 9-film saga.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
just a 6-film saga, no more, no less. Everything comes full circle. And I'm thinking about making like this thing called the Circle of Star Wars, where I show all like the things that come full circle and are like poetry throughout.
EUs are optional to watch.
Also, and keep in mind, George Lucas liked to keep the shape of this set shape circle and in the movies themselves, the locations, especially in Cloud City Processing Vein, outside the Processing Vein, the reactor shaft, giant circles.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he has. You've seen some people say he has a strange obsession with circles, but that's what Star Wars is. It's a circle of a certain story that's coming around and everything.
The circles right there, the circles everywhere, including the doors too. Everything's circle. Granted, there are different shapes, but the majority of them are circles. It even comes down to the vehicles, mainly the TIE vehicles, the TIE fighters.
And he drew some inspiration from Dante's Inferno, obviously, with Mustafar being hell. Mm-hmm. Yes, and
Modern times, when it comes to Geonosis Factory.
Yeah, Factory. Yeah, well, that's to represent his eventual mutilation and roboticization. Like it's
like
just
3PO and like 3PO, like him creating 3PO is like a foreshadow. And so is like Grievous being a foreshadow of what Anakin's going to become.
I like to think of like his obsessions with machines is like what eventually leads, because he's a mechanic as a young boy, and so he eventually grows up to be a Jedi, and then essentially he becomes more man than machine, so therefore he became the very thing he swore to destroy, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
Within the community is that every film after The Empire Strikes Back is either comparable or considerably worse.
All right, I'm back. Wait a minute.
Comparable or considerably worse. Well, again, that's all subjectivity of people
Also,
who grew up
circle on the hologram screen. Circle.
Yes, not a circle jerk. All right, we are not a circle jerk.
Yeah, we are no.
It's an interesting question to entertain. Are big scale movies the best medium for Star Wars?
Well,
Now,
they
I know
were
this
before
topic might
Disney
seem
bought them
strange
out.
on its face. Star Wars started as movies and has been successful as movies, earning an irresponsible $40 billion at the box office.
Box office.
But I'm not talking about movies being a poor medium for Star Wars as a business model.
And I still hate those fucking ships that Johnson came up with. They're so horribly designed.
An irresponsible $40 billion
Let me see these horrible.
But I'm not talking about movies being a poor medium for Star Wars.
Phasma.
Oh yeah, that's like I hate everything jerks off too.
Oh, you want to hear something interesting? Like, have you seen Robot Head's videos on them?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He when like he's comparing them to other ships, when they start coming in slowly, he plays like I Hate Everything's music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's creepy.
Strange.
I'm talking about how movies regularly cripple Star Wars on a narrative level. If you take a close look at the list of Star Wars fiction, you'll start to notice that some of the most beloved and well-executed entries are not movies. Some people consider the Knights of the...
that's not. That's all entirely subjective. That's not.
Yeah.
He's playing off of subjectivity to represent it as objectivity.
Oh,
that is what
boy.
pisses me off the most.
What exactly? What exactly do you think about that?
And I hate it when people say that there is no objectivity in films, because if you enjoyed it, then at least you liked it. Well, things have to be objectively sound, though. Okay, I will say this about like what we were saying before about The Last Jedi being an objectively bad film. It is an objectively bad Star Wars movie, but as a film on its own, it's not. It's fine. I feel like what Dumpsville said about it being fine on its own, it's just an objectively bad Star Wars movie, I feel is the better way to describe it.
Because it's not made by the...
You know what I'm saying? It's popcorn.
It's not made by the original creator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and therefore Disney disrespected the original creator.
Also,
which made it objectively bad.
Also, there be a topic on this one, and there be a regurgitated hyperbolical on this one. And my views are basically, and some of the views that most stem from EPG are basically the same as some of mine. You can lecture me all day long about Sonic Mania being the best Sonic game in years, but in reality, it is not. It's just basically you just take everything Pac-Man Mania did right, but instead just feed off on nostalgia. And there's barely any new levels. Granted, there are new levels, but the majority of them, but majority of them are basically rehashes of older levels, but revamped.
And that's like Ian Flynn eventually. Just he panders like a motherfucker.
Not to mention pandering towards classic fans, including Eagle Raptor and some Kong Johnny. See them fanboying over this crap, and it shows me how much I hate the classic era even more. Especially the fact that the classic era is basically the first era I grew up with via Mega Collection Plus. I never played the Adventure games yet, and since I played the Adventure games, starting with Adventure 1, I got a bit of trouble. But since I watched some of the walkthroughs,
Yeah, I'm saying this right now. But you know, it's kind of funny how he writes for Sonic and how Ian Flynn wrote for Sonic and Shadow. Well, He did the same thing to Knights and Riala, which is why he should not at all touch them. Not at all.
No.
Hell no. No.
So
You
so.
couldn't
on.
stop it.
Hey,
Nightmare.
Could
No
you, Flip?
touchy on the Nightmares.
You had to double
Especially.
down on the Knights, huh?
And then
Double down.
he'll pander like a motherfucker in between, like he did with Sonic Genesis, like in issue 226 to 229. He just pandered to the classic fans.
Oh my god! It's just the reason why I hate Mania now. It's for that same reason. It's basically like like the Force Awakens, but with Sonic. I always be more comfortable being Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and let's see, Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, I know, but
It's okay.
I like Shadow the Hedgehog, and especially Sonic Adventure, and those are my favorite games.
Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 my favorites.
I played Adventure 2 and Heroes.
I haven't really touched many 3D other than the Pontac graphics.
Yeah. You know what? I do recommend Adventure 1 and 2 on the original Dreamcast engine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because it plays better on Dreamcast than PC.
You can play the Knights Pinball in Adventure 1.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty. Well, they always got a theme of pinball and stuff.
So yeah, and that's what I played Unleashed, the PS2 version, sadly, but
I have it.
But I played that version. I enjoyed.
Oh, Ty, when I was showing you the Archie Comics Knights series in Series 2, didn't you mention what Knights and Real looked like?
Cosplayers.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh yeah, like that Mega Man from that the fat Mega Man in like the Street Fighter versus Tekken game.
Oh yeah, Bad Barkstar Mega Man.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's still creepy.
Yeah, and those remind me of that too.
Which is funny.
He had some sort of midlife crisis. Could quote the historian. He is the weapon after all.
Yeah, he just
ate cosplayers that can pull those costumes off way better.
Like he hides those E-tanks and just are milkshakes.
The Old Republic games to be some of the best RPGs ever made. People went bonkers for The Mandalorian, which is rightfully getting a second season. And
well,
some people
they went bonkers for it because it was better than anything else they had put out.
To be honest, I'm not really a huge fan of Mandalorian because I find problems with it.
Like when I first watched it when I was in like Tennessee, like I couldn't quite get into it as much. Like
me neither.
I mean, maybe it was because I was so off of Star Wars for the longest time that maybe that was the reason too. But I have to go back and rewatch it to get a better.
I remember watching The Mandalorian when I was at my older sister, one of my older sister's house in Seattle, and it doesn't click for me. And then she popped in last year on Disney Plus. I'm like, yeah. To be honest, she at least respects my opinion on The Last Jedi. So,
and the worst part is that a couple days later we went to see The Rise of Skywalker in theaters too.
Ooh, I'm so proud. 1917. So,
and guess what? I saw in theaters, and that was one of the worst theater experience I ever had. Too.
What was it? Oh.
I mean,
Skywalker.
It wasn't as bad for me, but maybe that's because we saw it in 3D. But really, again, I just wasn't on the. This was back when I was on the verge of like not listening to people on the internet at the same time.
Yeah.
But that has kind of changed a little bit with me. I try not to take too much advice from the internet because I know that the internet is still a toxic place full of people who think they know what they're talking about. But
and I like how I hate
just like dumbass critic. Some call me bias.
I hate
DS fail.
Ralph the Cookie Maker.
Discount Dr. Robotnik. The Amazing Ass Clown. Retarded Matthew.
Overpedia.
Cosmo Cuck Variety Hour.
Or contradiction.
Mediocre media.
Now we call them retarded lard media.
The Game Unapologist.
and Shafrius Productions, who I should just call the crab who is biased towards Star Wars. Or the hermit, I mean.
And Mueller and Rags. Well, yes, I'm glad that Morrow. I don't know about Rags, to be honest, but I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that Mueller and like enjoys prequels when he's like what, a kid or a teenager. I'm not sure, but it's so asteristically odd that you enjoy the prequels yet always fall back on a similar narrative. I need to I always put a little asterisk in there, I quote anomaly in this one, but I need to find still something that is still awful to keep them from being perfect, or in this case masterpieces. Look, I don't think the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are masterpieces. I don't think the prequel and the original trilogy movies are masterpieces. But if you're going to come on something that's either flawed by Lucas' intent, do it. Actually find it and actually point it out and actually take the time and analyze it, not just blatantly nitpick.
No.
Yeah.
And it's especially like,
and especially with I hate everything. I thought disliking The Last Jedi is so absurd. I thought the fans were supposed to see the good, not pass off nitpicks and complaints of a new movie and then the beloved franchise.
Not thinking more
then why did you bash George Lucas for the
exactly.
Because
exactly.
I fucking hate the prequels.
Then I'm sorry, I'm going to say this right now. If you're a person who hates the prequels but likes The Last Jedi because you think that it tried to do something different, then I'm sorry, but you are a massive hypocrite.
There you go. Oh, just like Dumzo said the truth, and yes, I know it's outdated, but just like Dumzo said, and yes, I know he's changed, but just like Dumzo said the true lover. But wait a minute, isn't Sally Acorn like a song feel character or something? I don't know, feel a character or something, or a video game character? And aren't you hating on her, even though you yourself is really into Sonic the Hedgehog? I think there's a word to describe you. I think it's called hypocrite, and that could be same applied to Dumzo too. But wait a minute, Dumzo, did you really? Aren't you born in 1999, months after the Phantom Menace came out? That's when you enjoyed the prequels and you played Lego Star Wars games and you owned Lego Star Wars toys, and your favorite character is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you have a Lego minifigure as your avatar and your persona, and aren't you hating on them, even though you yourself grew up with the prequels? And not to mention Star Wars has been in your entire life. Not to mention you're regurgitating what the OT fanboys had to say, to the point where my friend Maverick had to sub you as a result because the cringe is too real. I'm thinking there's a word to describe you, Dumbzilla. And not to mention you think you simply hate them upon first viewing as a child. Yet it's even though you clearly tell you actually enjoy them, you just regurgitate Ray LaMia, as evident in your Sonic AMV rant video and your Sonic 93 videos, where it shows your Ray LaMia bias and your anti-Jar Jar bias. I think there's a word to describe you. I think it's called hypocrite. But the prequel trilogy is filled with bad characters, bad writing, and bad CGI. Why I'm right.
The hypocrisy is strong with this one.
Oh my God, Dunzo
The
Senpai.
Clone Wars to be the best Star Wars fiction, period. Like, of anything.
Again,
but the Star Wars fiction I would like to talk about in this video is actually the 2008 Clone Wars' Emmy-winning predecessor, the 2003 Clone Wars, in my assessment.
In my assessment. Also, he put a link to the full series, but I assume it's going to already get taken down, so...
I don't know how long it'll last, honestly. Like, yeah, because it's on YouTube to watch for free. Like, I don't know why Cartoon Network hasn't claimed it, because they still own it.
That's why they don't care about it anymore. It's been long gone from them. So
I mean, that's true, but yeah, it's something. But no, like, get this though. Like, people are making the canon edits towards the Filoni series of the Tartokovsky one. And this person made 3 Clone Wars edit videos, and Disney blocked all of them. Like even
Wow.
though they
very
don't
cute.
own it technically.
It's fair use. It's fair. Jesus Christ, YouTube is so broken. Fake. What? Just do you? Look, just tell the CEO to resign and get a new
Yeah.
CEO. I'm not saying to
I
fire.
want John Favreau.
I'm not saying to fire the CEO of YouTube because that's a bit cancel culture,
Oh.
if you ask me. But I'm saying tell her to just actually resign. You're just making things
Oh, I
worse.
think you're talking about Lucasfilm.
Yeah,
I'm
I
talking about
understood that.
talking about YouTube. Just get a new CEO, YouTube CEO. Just get a new YouTube CEO. I'm not here to say, oh, this CEO, this female CEO, of YouTube needs to be fired. That's cancel culture talk. But I just want this stupid website to be fixed. I don't want to make it worse.
We just want to live in a world where we can just have our own creative vision and not get ridiculed for it.
It's called fair use, but no, it's pretty much in just like Japan, courtesy of YouTube, especially in America and Europe, have no fair use laws because fair use doesn't exist. No matter what YouTube claims, they don't give a shit about fair use at all. No wonder they took down the music policies list because nobody's using them. Not to mention, there are also some songs you can't use, especially if like the songs that become memes, like "Shooting Stars" and "Break My Stride." You can't use because the song's not available to be used, or else you get blocked or muted. Especially Gundam Style. It was just ironic because it was a hit on YouTube, and you can't use it under fair use.
Man, that takes me back a little bit.
Also makes it what you can't even use snippets of like tracks from film scores that are like been put up by various era band because it's blocked here in the United States and United Kingdom. But because if I upload them with the snippets involved, Universal Music Group is going to block them.
And wasn't it the Metal Gear Mando who said he like uploaded like a clip with a 7-second music track and he still got blocked?
Not to mention, I think it says already. I tried uploading a Ruby Sapphire Emerald cover on James Horner, select tracks from James Horner score to the Wrath of Khan, which is I just got these from the internet. I'm not telling the site though, but for obvious reasons. But I'm leaving it anonymous. But I tried uploading on a day that marks 5 years after James Horner's death, but I got claimed because I did a cover on the main titles and on the overture and the overture suite and the end titles. And so I have to wait until James Horner's birthday. She would have been like, what is this, like mid to late 60s or something? I'm not entirely sure, but I thankfully I removed the overture MIDI and the end titles MIDI out of it, just only leaving the middle two that thankfully aren't part of the bots yet to be ready to be claimed on the video list from the bots, of course. And thankfully, my video didn't get claimed. A re-upload didn't get claimed. Thankfully, finally. Oh man, I have a lot to say. I'm trying not to start.
I believe
just had to let
this
it all
Clone
out.
Wars micro series accentuated all of the narrative strengths of the Star Wars franchise while simultaneously doing away with so much of what the core theatrical releases do wrong.
What?
Do wrong?
Dude, okay, you have to realize that yes, it's not going to be the same as live action films with that stuff because
That was a
animation is
straw
an
man.
entirely different medium that's capable of different things, all right? You have to judge it in a way that's, yeah, it's not the same.
Since this channel and all of my videos are based in being a helpful guide to writers both experienced and novice, I think it is important for writers to understand how a fiction's strengths and weaknesses are affected by how it is delivered to an audience. And 2003's Clone Wars is therefore perfect to use as a case study, because not only is it one of the most unique Star Wars fictions, its release and distribution was unlike anything else in Star Wars history.
Well, that is true. I do like that. Clone Trooper slapstick.
If you were to watch all 2 hours
Thank you,
of the
I
Clone
needed
Wars
that.
micro
That
series
scene
in
is
its
still
entirety,
Thank you.
by the
I
way,
think
you
we all
totally
need
should.
that.
It's all free on YouTube.
Also,
was
look at
pretty
these
good,
guys,
yeah.
the Banking Clan guys. Tell me that doesn't look like Squidward's like
Ah,
pretty
cool,
face.
man.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
man.
they're related to like they're
Squidward.
guys like having relations with Stan Hill.
You were saying, Cole?
The pretty Squidward from like the two.
Oh, handsome
episode.
Squidward.
I'm a two-faced
Handsome
Squidward.
Oh no, he's hot.
Yeah, and I think these guys are like the same race as Plagueis was.
Yeah, they are. I don't know that. I don't remember the name of the species, but yes, it is the same as him.
Squidward.
Which
It's called
Plagueis
Squidward.
did die during the Phantom Menace.
Yes.
Ironic.
You might come away from watching that series thinking it was all action all the time with the focus on nothing else. And honestly,
Well,
it's pretty
it kind
easy
of
to
is in
understand
a way,
why
but
you might think
well, it's
that way.
it's again, it's.
I mean,
I will say this. I feel like it was more like geared. Again, I feel like it was more geared toward fans of Samurai Jack than Star Wars at the time. It's just because Genndy Tartakovsky like used so
how
many.
it's animated and such.
But I mean, it's like Genndy himself even said he was a big fan of Star Wars. So doing this was like essentially like him just having so much, like basically just having a field day with it, doing whatever he wanted. And therefore, that's why some certain things just feel universe breaking. But again, it's just Genndy Tartakovsky's way of conveying through visuals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also surprised. I'm just surprised that despite Kevin Kiner's score to the pilot film of the Clones getting a soundtrack release, not to mention a promo release of select highlights, select cues from the TV show. The soundtrack of this one is never released. I don't know why, but typical Cartoon Network after all.
Yeah.
Even though it was mostly composed by the same guy who was an additional composer on the Powerpuff Girls and I think Samurai Jack, and also did Jay and Silent Bob movies. Yeah, I think so.
I think I actually just thought of something like that's kind of hypocritical about what people's saying about this. Like people are like the guy earlier saying that this turned out better than the prequels when this has Obi-Wan fight. When it has Obi-Wan fight against another silent antagonist that's simply a pawn, just like in the Phantom Menace. And yeah, how's that any different than that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dirge is still awesome. Yes.
In the first minute, we are flung into a full-on frontal assault. Then we see Count Dooku.
It's a montage. It's a montage with Yoda
then
talking
we
over
cut
stuff, describing the clone.
Then we cut to Mace doing Windu things, and again,
doing
this is in a
Windu
minute.
things.
The Clone Wars micro series is without a doubt the fastest paced and most action-oriented Star Wars fiction ever released.
Yeah.
Well,
Yet
it's certainly the most
somehow,
action-oriented,
nearly
but
paradoxically,
it is slower in
For
certain
Volume
parts.
1, but
Volume 2
for-
is a little slower, but
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of slower stuff too in like Volume 1 too, like with Padme and the temple and stuff with Luminara and Barriss. Like,
that
I don't
same
know. I don't know if I
action-oriented
I
series
would consider
won
that
2
canon
Emmys,
there.
is venerated as one of the top animations Cartoon Network has ever put out, and was so successful that it spawned its own spin-off series. And for the
Spin-off?
average viewer,
no, George
It's not a-
Lucas wanted to rewrite the Clone Wars.
Yeah. This
Yes.
was done again. People have to keep in mind that this was done with the direction of George. Okay, he used his. Yeah, he had involvement in the making of this show. It wasn't just Dave Filoni. Okay, there was a lot of different people writing episodes, including Lucas's daughter, I believe.
But season 7 had involvement in Kathleen Kennedy, which
And
we don't
the Luke-
speak
Actually,
of.
no. I think it was Dave Filoni's idea to change the guy love interest for Ahsoka to those two girls. It was Dave Filoni's idea himself, I believe.
I mean, not to mention,
From
not
what
to
I've
mention
heard.
that speech that Dave Lloyd gave during like back in 2006, despite what Arcade Outpost might have you believe, he thinks is recent, even though he should have looked below. It was published in that video where it shows Dave Filoni talking feminist crap. It was taking place in 2016, not recently. You gotta be careful when we gotta be. And I mean, it comes to Phantom Menace, I have no problems with it. But it comes to stuff like this, with Arcade Outpost thinking this is like what Dave Filoni says recent, even though I could be wrong for saying it. But if he didn't look at the year that he just said that, especially on the video, the clip itself, even though that speech he gave wasn't back in 2006. Yes, I am aware of Dave Filoni's involvement, according to the Art of the Rise of Skywalker book, as detailed as laid out by Ichibaka. This Star Wars is dumb, but you gotta be extremely aware of what you're doing, aware of what you're doing, what you're doing. Without that, you got people like Cool Man here actually having a little bit of grudge of you because of your inconsistencies with Star Wars and the lore. So yeah, sorry if I sound harsh, but it's truth.
Yeah.
That's stuff I can get out of my head because someone starts slipping. Anyway, press on.
Or average writer watching the Clone Wars microseries, they might attribute its massive success to the rule of cool. Now, many of you might have heard of the rule of cool in relation to Dungeons and Dragons, specifically from
Dungeons and Dragons.
The Rule of Kill with Matt Mercer.
I haven't seen this. Yeah.
Mercer of Critical Role. But the rule of cool has existed long before any of us, perhaps even since the advent of entertaining fiction. TV Tropes, a website that I recommend you keep far away from because you'll never find your way out.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the SJW shit hole. Do not get anything from that website. I think the last time, in fact, one of the times I've saw someone just using TV Tropes was C.R. Martin, the one and only C.R. Martin when reviewing Captain Marvel and Shazam. Why the fuck? And he gave it like what, 3 out of 5 or something? I don't know. For Captain Marvel, like, bruh, it doesn't deserve 3 out of 5. I mean, for college TV sense, it does, but and objectively is no. But why use TV Tropes? Never use TV Tropes.
No, they're just like the Wikipedia of that kind of stuff.
And especially it's fandom based, by the way. So, ouch. Yeah. If you want to see everything wrong with TV Tropes, just find an article on archived article, or I think archived or article on Encyclopedia of America. It's holy fucking shit. TV Tropes is a name that you certainly will regret ever using that website. Anyway, press on.
Definitions for the rule of cool. In a nutshell, it is the inclusion of something in a story fundamentally because it is either wicked sweet or awesome. The rule of cool acts as a superseding guiding light for writers, giving them carte blanche freedom to include even the most ridiculous, nonsensical, or over-the-top elements into their fiction. The only requirement
if it's in the case of Rian Johnson, then no, I disagree.
Yes.
It makes the audience's jaw drop to the floor. The rule of cool is why Jurassic World had a velociraptor ride a T-Rex, or why Transformers had Optimus.
I don't think it works.
Or why T-Rexes are in fiction at all, because they're freaking awesome. Heck, the rule of cool is the sole reason the Fast and Furious franchise can even exist.
And it went downhill after the 7th movie.
Yeah.
And to bring the crazy train back to Star Wars. Many people feel that the rule of cool defines.
Oh God! Insert Thanos joke.
The micro series is undoubtedly cool and unabashedly caters towards action set pieces and
way past animation. Cool.
But to say the Clone Wars succeeds because of the rule of cool is to sell it short. Sure, it's empowered by the rule of cool, and maybe even looks like it prioritizes style over substance. But the rule of cool by itself does not win you Emmys or Oscars. Many films.
Well, yes, unless it's I don't know, unless it's Transformers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Michael Bay. Michael Bay here. Oh,
just
God.
being visual spectacle and subsequently
Let's show
failing
an
to garner any
Aquaman.
real praise or attention.
Yeah, I heard that movie
And the
was
Oscar-
not bad.
Now I've seen it with my friend.
Well, Aquaman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cosmonaut hated it though.
Oliver Harper hated it.
All right, we're gonna take a look at Cosmonaut's Aquaman review eventually.
No, please. I not.
I don't know. I'm not going to cover Oliver Harper's Aquaman video. I assume that video is now deleted because again, he deletes his own reviews, films he saw in the theaters. So just what's the point? What's the point of having retrospectives and reviews? Jesus Christ!
Goes to,
Exactly.
for Suicide Squad, Alessandro Bertolazzi, Giorgio Gregorini, and Christopher Nelson.
Okay, that is not fair, and we are not talking about that. The thing we should
Yeah.
Yes, that is off topic. Using outside footage.
To discredit George, that's off the checkbox. Ding.
focus on is that something was going on behind the scenes with the writing of the Clone Wars microseries that caused its surface to look simple and shallow,
Wait, a
but led
kyber
to its
crystal.
actual makeup being deeply engaging and complex.
Oh, look at that! That was right there. Was interesting to see.
Yeah.
The
Like, I
kyber
remember
crystal.
I remember seeing that for the first time as a kid. It was like, oh, so that's how lightsabers are made. They require crystals, kyber crystals, huh? And then the Clone Wars expands on that too, with a place where, Ahsoka and Yoda have like a bunch of younglings find their kyber crystals and then build their lightsabers, and not to mention the canceled Crystal Crisis on Utapau arc has them getting a massive kyber crystal, which would be used to power the Death Star.
And also, here's a fun fact. Like, here's a fun, interesting thing to hear. Like, Sith, like the red lightsabers that are embraced from the dark side, like they are the kyber crystals are coated in blood.
Yeah. Interesting. And there's also, from what I've heard, there's the Ahsoka novel where she apparently is able to fight off an Inquisitor, and she takes the kyber crystal out of their lightsaber and uses the Force to turn it white, and then that's how she ends up with white lightsabers.
It's kind of universe breaking.
I don't know how that works, really. There might be a different universe explanation, perhaps.
Maybe. I wouldn't consider it universe breaking. I just consider it in between.
Well, it's just something that we've never seen
would be by
before.
talking about this man, Genndy Tartokovsky. If you watched the cartoon,
I still
Network
do
when you
love
were
the
younger,
man's work.
This man is
anyway.
probably
I'm not
the
really
archetype
dissing him at
of
all.
your animated childhood. In the early 2000s, Star Wars was knee-deep in its prequel trilogy. And that meant merchandising companies like Hasbro were knee-deep in cash from all the sales they were generating.
Yeah,
because
that's kind of inevitable with this stuff.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Hasbro and Kenner are great companies for producing Star Wars toys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hasbro, like any good money-grubbing capitalistic megacorp,
It's not just Hasbro who produces Star Wars toys. There's also Kenner that does Star Wars
Not
toys.
the fun Kenner. I think it's Zord to Hasbro. Just capitalist.
I'm sorry,
Wanted
but
to make sure that-
why am I hearing another video in the background?
Oh, it's from Dragon. I think.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
There was
not. Hopefully, it's not too
continued
distracting
between
there.
the time of release for Star Wars Episode 2 and Episode 3. LucasArts promptly contacted
LucasArts? What?
What?
LucasArts is a video game company. It's not. Did you mean Lucasfilm?
Yes.
Did he Wikipedia this shit?
I think so.
Oh, who knows? Honestly,
Maybe,
I
or
wouldn't be surprised.
like the saying he mentioned earlier, TV tropes. But no, they just do definitions.
They just come up with their own stupid shit.
I think so. He did Wikipedia since he did TV tropes earlier.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention in Hackfrog Media's TLJ 2-part video, he used when going to the segment on Baby Mary Sue again, he used TV tropes like bruh, Really? Don't you? Don't. When it comes to Mary Susan, don't rely on TV tropes. They don't. As they even admit, they don't fully understand what Mary Sue truly is. They just cover up their own bias.
No, and also,
Reading-
coming from the guy who said, who put "don't listen to TV tropes." Well, then if you're the one who used Wikipedia to come up with this shit, well, then maybe you should do your own damn research and shit.
Oliver Harper. And be careful with
idea
So
to create a Star Wars micro series. The notion was to air 60-second Star Wars shorts before and after primetime cartoons in order to whet the appetites of kids
Teen
for Revenge of the
Titans.
Sith. Cartoon Network,
The
lots of
original.
money, eagerly accepted LucasArts' offer and threw their best man at the project, Genndy Tartokovsky, who had recently wrapped up his all-time great show, Samurai Jack.
Samurai
Now,
Jack
for
wrapped
you
up
guys,
in
if you're thinking
2004.
that
This
a
is in
multi-billion-
2003.
Yeah, and it didn't really wrap up in 2017.
No, the show was
Dollar
canceled in
General.
2004. By the way, yes.
you Wikipedia that shit again, or are you just forgetting? Wayne's right.
Asking a man to
I
create
think
a
it's
competent, coherent, entertaining miniseries comprised of 1 minute
I
episodes
just love
for
the
most
way that,
beloved
like-
sci-fi IP on the
They
planet
zoomed
would be
in
difficult
to
and a
Mace
lot of
Windu.
pressure.
That was so
You would be
boring.
right. Which is why Genndy negotiated the much more
like-
liberating wiggle room of having 3 whole minutes per episode. And Genndy Tartakovsky, being the expert storyteller he was and is, didn't just want to put out any old micro series. He wanted to develop a series that had, quote, a band of brothers feel to it, where its episodes had different battles and strategies during the Clone Wars. And if you don't know, let me have the pleasure of telling you.
Okay,
This was
sure.
insane.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
God.
Reference to
Far
Far
Cry
Cry
3.
3. You know what I can associate the definition of insanity with is prequel hate. All right.
Mhm.
Dumbledore used to use that in his third, in his final part of True Love Art, video, part 3. Definition of insanity. And I'll even mention this during a Dylan Thomas live stream when covering True Love Art 94. So, food for thought.
Brothers is considered to be one of the greatest television shows of all time, and followed the
I haven't seen
harrowing,
it.
truly
No, me
horrifyingly
neither.
realistic exploits of the United States Army in World War II across 60-minute episodes.
I'm noticing this
And
guy's
Genndy wanted to translate
way
that
of talking.
into 3-minute episodes.
What does it remind you of?
As in, it's too fast.
Well, yeah, because almost like he's trying to read fast across his script. You know what? I will admit I kind of have the tendency of like reading fast when I'm like trying to like go through and do reading. I just have the tendency to like try to read really fast when I'm like trying to be aggressive about it. But here, like I try to read when I'm trying to understand something. I try to read slower, or at least I go over more than once. Like I feel like this guy is just reading off of something that
Yeah.
he just put together in like what, maybe an hour.
Of a cartoon where space wizards with glow sticks
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, here
God,
we
not
go.
that.
No,
Here we
not
go. The
Cosmonaut
Harry Potter
Variety
comparison.
Hour.
That face reaction sums up. Bruh.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
we
sorry,
are not.
that-
It's like Mace Windu going, bro. We are not just space wizards, all right.
This is a film about space wizards intended for children. Patrick H. Williams. Why are you talking about Star Wars? This is the movie about space wizards. Actually, no, this is a film about space wizards intended for children. And even Hacker me call my like they don't give me that bullshit telling me, "Oh, it's just a fantasy movie. You just be upset about it." I love it how Crowley just said that. It's just a fantasy movie. Yeah, Wayne's calling out people who defend Last Jedi. It's just a fantasy movie.
Again, more of the same hypocritical bullshit coming from people who bash George.
Who don't understand Star Wars entirely.
wave their hands to knock over kitchen appliances.
Hey,
holding
look at that.
M4.
See?
Look at that.
He did
He
it.
could have done that at the Geonosis Arena.
If he did that in the Geonosis arena, I feel like the whole thing would collapse, honestly.
Mhm.
He's that powerful. Like, that's
Gendy's
like
goal
gotta be
of
what,
showcasing the
1,000 super battle droids? Yeah,
Star
I
Wars
do
as
like. I also
real
do like
war
the scene where
acts as a
C-3PO was walking and he just can't get shot at.
deterrent
Yes.
for why the series exists and succeeds as it does. Genndy understood the limitations of what a micro series like this could be, and instead of trying to cram a Star Wars story into 3-minute episodes, he told war stories that just happened.
War stories.
What? What the
War-
fuck does
war-
that mean? Yeah, war.
The Star Wars universe. The man had 180 seconds to grab the attention of kids and adults alike in order to make them invested enough to purchase a $12 movie ticket down the line. And in my assessment, these limitations imposed on the Clone Wars
Wait,
micro
it cost
series narrative
$12 back in
unlocked
2000.
the
Oh, yeah, right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never
I
mind.
was gonna
Never mind.
say
What
that
Star
is a
Wars could
huge
be.
like moon or
where the core prequel trilogy is bogged down by hemorrhage-inducing dialogue.
Oh my god! Why do you?
Coal is turning into gold.
Fuck off.
Can you just?
Off.
I don't even feel. I feel like I'm in limbo with this shit. Like nobody. It feels like nobody ever provides an actual decent argument for the dialogue.
No.
What is this boy say? Oh, the prequel trilogy's heavy with dialogue.
It's basically copycatting, if you ask me.
Off. That's not a real way to critique or even praise something.
This is just a straw man argument.
Hey, you want to know? You want? I'll let people in on something. The reason why I don't pretty much talk about certain games and such, it's not that I hate them. It's because I pretty much didn't play them.
Yeah.
So I have
Yes,
no
exactly.
opinions on them.
Same here.
You can't critique something if you haven't watched or seen it or
Yes,
played
that's
it.
like me essentially trying to critique. Yeah, it's me trying to. It's me trying to critique like a game, Persona 5, like saying that it's overrated, even though I haven't even played the damn thing.
I suggest you go for Royal because it considers the more complete and more things to do in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm thinking of getting. Well, I'm thinking of getting other games, but anyways,
I can get Switch so I can play Pokemon Sword, a Sword version, to be honest, because of B. So I have B as my avatar. So
The micro
What
series
the-
avoids of what
What
Star Wars
the,
could
what
be,
was that edit?
where the core
I
prequel
have
trilogy
no
is
idea.
bogged down by hemorrhage-inducing dialogue.
ugh.
It gets everywhere.
okay.
And then, doing the out of context thing. You
I don't-
can't just pay attention to the context.
Why don't I do that? Like, I don't like prequel haters. They're coarse, they're rough, they're irritating, and they're just everywhere.
Yeah, I just say the same thing.
The micro series avoids that by literally just not having dialogue half the time.
Again,
episodes-
you realize that Star Wars was intended to be watched also as a silent film too, okay? George Lucas himself said that he wasn't a fan of exposition in movies, but he put the dialogue anyway, okay? These
And
movies
Genndy
can still be watched.
Tartokovsky, like, inspired George Lucas a lot.
Yeah, like whenever I hear somebody say that like the prequels are too
inspirations from
exposition
them.
heavy
I mean,
and stuff, I just want to tell you, no, you can. Well, yeah, they are filled with exposition, of course, but they can also be watched as silent films too.
Did people realize George Lucas doesn't like exposition-driven dialogue? Did you even pay attention to the episodes, the behind-scenes footage, or even the commentaries? Jesus Christ! No. We gotta keep our own Rayla Mia bias. Fuck off. To quote Cortana from Halo Combat Evolved, sod off. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Are purely focused on relaying important information through visual storytelling and character action. Much of the dialogue
prequels
that
had
does
this
appear
too.
is in relation to the events of the war and conflict itself. Where the core series might spend time bringing the narrative to a crawl to explain world building,
I've been wondering, what are midi-chlorians?
Jesus.
or worse,
And yes, use that out of context as well, just like the
No,
usual prequel haters
Even though
do.
he didn't, even though he didn't talk about it, I'm gonna put that on the checklist of midi-chlorians ruin Force.
Ching. Ching.
commercial trading alliances, the micro series doesn't
It's
bother
a
with the-
It's Palpatine's plan of upsetting the Senate. Oh, come on.
And also, was that supposed to be like Chewbacca? Was that?
It's a Wookiee.
Yeah, but why does it look like Bigfoot?
It's just the way that it's just the style for it. It's the
It doesn't
style.
have time for that. And even when it does, it doesn't matter because the focus of the
Whoa.
story requires no exposition.
Yes.
The focus of the story is not really the
ER,
machinations
is
of the
that
Sith,
you?
or the all-powerful presence of the Force, or the prophecy of the Chosen
Yeah, I
One.
just said it.
The focus
ER.
is war and how violent, unpredictable, all-consuming, and widespread.
Well, it is still about the Chosen One and war.
Yeah, this
At the
series,
same time.
like this series was to show off more. The micro series purpose was to show off the Clone Wars and to fill in the gaps between 2 and 3. Like the Filoni is essentially just made to expand on it and tell different stories.
And it was also about the Chosen One. Like, look at Anakin's prophecy and the Genndy Tartokovsky in Volume 2.
Yeah, and in fact, I feel like it's also good that we actually see him transition into Jedi Knight. Yeah, we don't get to see that in the Filoni series.
And him fighting
Jedi Knight
Ventress.
when it starts.
Him battling Ventress and just using the dark side power to strike her.
Yeah.
And make her fall in the fourth moon of Yavin.
Yeah, and like even though like she's supposedly dead with that scene, even in like the EU canon, she actually survived that.
Mm-hmm.
Is all of which need no exposition save for what can be shown visually. Where the Clone series always
Again,
keeps us centered
silent films
on a few key characters as they accomplish their specific goals, the Clone Wars microseries allows us to simultaneously touch all parts of the galaxy. The Clone Wars at the time, the audiences
so did the Filoni Clone Wars did. Yeah, it allowed us to explore more of the galaxy.
The scope of any Star Wars story. We got to individually follow Obi-Wan, Stormtroopers, Anakin, Yoda.
Did you just call them
Kiadi
Stormtroopers? Wait, go back.
Scope of any Star Wars story. We got to individually follow Obi-Wan, Stormtroopers.
Clone troopers. They're completely just a different thing.
They are called clone
troopers. They are from the genetics of Jango Fett.
Did he even watch the prequels?
No, he probably just made a mistake and then didn't even bother to fix it. Like he didn't like, you know how some people like make mistakes and then they put text above the mistakes.
Which is why you see Tamora Morrison's face all the time with the clone troopers throughout episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
A little side note, actually, I actually don't like the clones' voices in the show because, well, I mean, for one, it's just off hearing them without like Brazilian accents, and second, they just sound
New Zealand accents. You mean?
Well, yeah, New Zealand is what I mean. Sorry.
Because Tamora Morrison is from New Zealand.
Yeah, but it's just off not hearing that, and also they just sound too emotionless and stuff. Like I get it that he was trying to portray them more as like drones and everything, and like how the Republic is no different than the Separatists because they have an army of essentially clones, and they think that it's any different than the Separatists there with their droids. But really, I prefer how they're portrayed in the Filoni Clone Wars better, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's even like an incredible arc that like goes in depth with them too. Captain Rex is still great.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Frodo on the other hand, Commander Cody is pretty cool.
Yes. Okay.
Yoda, Padme, Mace Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Asajj Ventress, and many others. Much of the microseries felt like there was no main character, which worked well in achieving the narrative's goal of making...
And yet people complained there was no main character in The Phantom Menace.
There's no main character. Phantom Menace, there's Qui-Gon Jinn. He went out with a tired soldier.
And after Qui-Gon dies, it's Obi-Wan for the remainder of this trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gets top Gilly. Who's really the main character? Bruh, Liam Neeson gets top billing. Keep him. Look, he is Qui-Gon, the main character who died as a soldier, a tired soldier. And then episode 2 and 3, Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan for the Reindeer series. It's
I
not.
want you to tell me who the main character is.
Oh, please. I hate that voice.
I want
Wait,
you to tell me who the main character of the Phantom Menace was.
Let me get my
And to
charger
quote
real quick.
Dunsville, nice grammar. I want you to
Just
tell
feel like this was an intergalactic war that affected all people equally. Where the core series was limited by the reality of what human actors could do coupled with CGI, the Clone Wars microseries
CGI. Yep. Do that in your checklist, Cole.
Look. Says the people who enjoyed The Mummy in 1999 and don't mind its day effects. You say, oh yeah, the CGI is dated, but it's pretty good movie regardless. That's okay. Just why the prequel trilogy this prequel trilogy shits on the Mummy. That sounds fair, especially the fact that I&M worked on the Mummy, but comparing to Phantom Menace, you can tell I&M put a lot more effort in the Phantom Menace, and also the prequel trilogy as a whole.
Also, from this shot here, it looks like that one guy with the brownish cloak actually looks like he has a jester hat.
That's a girl, actually. That's Shock T. Yeah.
Well, they look like they have a jester hat on.
Oh yeah.
It's her horns, I guess.
Sorry, I guess from this angle.
I forget what is the name of the Shock T species?
I forgot. I think it's the same species as Ahsoka or something. I don't know.
Hold on, let me look this up. Let me look it up.
Yeah, see, I need to look more into that Star Wars encyclopedia that I still have. Like, yeah, I got one from like back when it was before like the 2011 Blu-ray.
Her species is Togruta.
Torgruta. Yeah, see, even I don't know
Togruta.
how to say that. Well, let's leave it at that then.
In their purest form. In my Incredibles video, I talked about director Brad Bird's view on animation being caricature.
And that's not the reason to do animation anyway. The reason to do it is caricature. It means reducing something to its essence. So it becomes this. It's almost like boiled down to its essence. Well, animators do that not only with the style of how something looks, but how it moves.
That outlook on animation capabilities
That's not what Brad Bird meant. That's not what Brad Bird meant. Jesus Christ! Not that type of thing. What Brad Bird meant. This is different than what Brad Bird meant.
Sorry, my connection bugged out. What did I miss?
I'm saying that this is not
Hold on, this is Brad Bird.
Character.
Bird's view on animation.
Wait, no, I saw
being
this.
caricature.
And that's not the reason to do animation anyway. The reason to do it is caricature. It means reducing something to its essence. So it becomes this. It's almost like boiled down to its essence. Well, animators do that not only with the style of how something looks, but how it moves.
That outlook on animation capabilities.
I don't know if that's entirely.
This has nothing to do with.
That's not what Brad Bird meant.
The caricature
that meant.
What did he mean?
That's not what he meant.
On full display in the.
Well, what did he mean?
I don't know. Also, fun fact: Brad Bird was not only one of the executive producers on Amazing Stories, if I'm correct, but he's also, I could be wrong, but he also did the long forgotten Family Dog, including the segment from including the episode of the same name from Amazing Stories, and not to mention he directed the Dude the Bartman music video, and also he directed the Iron Giant. And he also directed The Incredibles, so.
Well, alright, well, at least there's something.
Samuel Jackson, as cool as he is, could never get away with doing this.
Because it's animation.
Silly, impossible.
It's
animation.
Windu?
No one could do.
I mean, with CGI character, it's possible, but not in a real life character, not in a live action character, not a real life actor.
Yeah. No.
Wowed us by slowly lifting an X-wing with the Force. But Clone Wars Yoda can flash his fingers.
Yeah,
and
this
entire
is also
tanks
kind
and
of
drop ships to the
stupid.
Shadow
Like,
Realm.
He destroys 3 armies.
One of the biggest reasons that Clone
like
Wars
I
is
mean,
true
okay, I
is
know
so
it's Yoda and
Boom.
beloved
everything.
by
But
Star Wars
Yo,
fans
he's
is because it
bad
shows
at
the
Samuel
Jedi as cool
Jackson
as they
right
have
here.
ever. It may
Well,
be
he's not voiced by Samuel Jackson.
will ever
But
No,
it
it's
be.
totally
not.
is based on him.
The
It's
animation
actually,
of the series
I already
allows
told
the
you
Jedi
it was voiced by.
to be the truly awe-inspiring galactic warriors that Star Wars has always built them up to be.
No,
The micro
Galactic
series,
Warriors.
as
Yeah,
equivalent
except
to
well, they're
whole
not.
I just
armies.
like
I'm not being
Mace right there
hyperbolic.
just
I mean
beating
that
on them,
literally.
punching these things.
Visual.
Did I?
I think so.
How many? 1,000?
That's
No.
funny.
80?
No, sir.
He goes from
50?
1,000 to 80.
40? Come on. How
Alright,
many?
Ricky.
I get it.
He's
of the
saying
Jedi
like,
truly
oh, the
knowing
Jedi are
power
supposed to be
directly
portrayed as
contributes
like a
to the most
one-man
threatening
army. Like,
antagonist
no,
in
that's
Star
not how I
Wars
see them.
history.
This is
Animated-
how I see them in terms of the war. Like, Jedi are essentially like fast-moving tanks with the clone troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, be right back. I need to fill up some more water. Be right back.
Okay, that's
You know,
fine.
I'll do the same thing too because I need water as well, and I gotta take my meds.
Everybody be dehydrated. Essentially, like, yeah, the Clone Wars is like a period that is meant to expose them as the Jedi as like being, hypocritical and thinking that they're delivering the peace by being soldiers in the war, but when really they're inciting more conflict than they intend to, which is why people start losing faith in them. I don't see oh dear.
And the doggo, I hear.
Yeah, I know. It's Tyler's actually. What else? Like think.
Rough.
Well, I mean, I'm saying at least. Well, despite the fact that we took a long time with like the first one. We spent a long time on the first one, the first segment. I feel like we're going through this one actually pretty fast. But yeah, I can see right. This is the part where Grievous squashes Jedi Master Shaggy Rogers. I know it's not his actual name though, but he looks like Shaggy, so that's why people call him that. Yes, but here he's going to start talking about how awesome Grievous is in this show and how, this is how Grievous should be portrayed and not like the hammy coward that George made him into, because it's totally not up to the creator to actually create. God forbid. The creator should just not go with his own ideas, and he should not be given creative free range to do things with his own franchise. He should just be giving them to other people who certainly know what they're doing and certainly don't like to character assassinate others. No,
Yeah.
we just like to see just spectacle and great visuals and
I'm
good
back.
acting. Okay, I was trying my best to occupy the audience while you guys were gone.
Alright.
So yeah, he's probably going to start talking about Grievous now in this show.
Alright.
So let's go.
Grievous. So much time has been spent building up the unmatched power of the Jedi.
And
I've
I've got to say this right now. Am I the only one who thinks that Grievous looks kind of strange? Wait,
Can't start without me. Shit.
it's okay.
No, you didn't mention
He's just talking about Grievous now and how super awesome he is.
Oh my god, stop. Stop, can you stop? Can we all agree that OG Grievous is overrated?
I just think like I like him a bit in this. I like him in both series. Like I just like him as a character in general, but really I just wish he wasn't. I just wish his character was balanced out. Like he was, he had the wit and charm of the Filoni and Revenge of the Sith, and the badassery of this, except not like cranked up to 11.
No.
He
Like,
just killed him without even shedding his cape. Without taking off his cape.
Like, and also like walking through like with after the Nemorian Jedi just blowing away an army of super battle droids, and Grievous just walks through it.
That is also pretty stupid. Like he curls up with his armor and he's able to walk through it, and it's like Jesus Christ, it's like he's built into he's just to overpower any situation. Like,
yes, and with the clone troopers holding him off, he's like, psh, psh, psh.
I mean, I do like the moment where he does that, but I just feel like, it should just be enough badassery to, make him intimidating, but also memorable at the same time. Like, I feel like Matthew Wood is still the best voice. Yeah.
Down a whole squadron of them is about as intimidating as any viewer could imagine. The micro series created a Grievous unlike any antagonist we had seen before in Star Wars.
Well, because it was the
handled
first
more like
time
a
we
horror
saw
movie
him
monster
anyway.
than a typical villain. And all that works on a narrative
This is his debut
to establish his character and the menace behind it. The Clone Wars Grievous is a bone-white, dead-eyed behemoth that will hunt you no matter where you are. And mercilessly
just walking on the side of the building.
Cartoon.
Going
slapstick.
And also the elevator is moving pretty fast, so he's literally running at the speed of a fast-moving elevator.
Yes. And the clone trooper had to use a rocket launcher on him.
I know, that whole scene just cracks me up. Like, he just calmly loads a bazooka and expects to not explode everyone else while in the damn elevator. Like, it's so stupid, but I do love it anyway.
Ways you didn't think possible. And even Grievous was used as a tool for visual storytelling. His training against Dooku cements just how powerful the Sith are.
He was trained in the Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
Oh my god, that is a weird
could take down whole groups of Jedi. Yet he seemed almost powerless next to the fully fledged Sith Lords. All these pieces that I mentioned.
Also, I just realized that's actually
product that's.
I also just realized that that's actually the only time we ever visually see Grievous being trained by Dooku. We never even get any of that in the Filoni, which is
Genndy,
just jarring.
The creative team achieved this by understanding just how their fiction would be delivered to their audience. When their time frame was 3 minutes per episode, they recognized how tight and to the point each had to be. And in the third season, where each episode became 12 minutes, they adapted in kind to create a larger underlying narrative that explored Anakin's struggle with self-control.
Ooh, Techno Union.
I think he looks kind of scary.
I'm still not trying to say.
This is the Techno Union
stuff.
That Star Wars doesn't work.
Because I could tell by that species, this is the Techno Union.
That scene still gets me.
What we as fans have seen, and what writers should pay
attention to. The Techno
The difference in what the film accentuates versus what the other media accentuates. The Mandalorian was such a huge success.
Wait, hold on. I wanted to hear what he said. Go back.
And what writers should pay attention to is the difference in what the films accentuate versus what the other mediums accentuate.
Again, just dictating what these people should be doing.
Star Wars should be simple. Remember?
Star Wars should be simple.
Yes, the creator himself should pay more attention to what his other followers do, because they're apparently better at him than writing at his own franchise. Yeah.
Yes.
An investigative tale
totally.
Of a hardened warrior taking care of a small, ultra-important child.
Okay, that has complexity. They're showing complexity with it.
Well, it's Jon Favreau, at least, and Dave Filoni.
This narrative isn't new by any stretch of the
imagination.
At least it's not like Last of Us level. It's not like The Force Awakens.
What made The Mandalorian so interesting was using the Star Wars setting in concert with that concept to show us a side of the fiction we hadn't seen before. The core movies of Star Wars
unless
tread
you
these
watch,
deep.
well, I feel like I feel like the whole Filoni-verse, which is what I call the Clone Wars, Rebels, and the Mandalorian, is essentially just a means of expanding stuff. It's expanding the universe, telling different stories, and trying to fill in gaps between certain episodes. But really, again, they shouldn't act as like a replacement for the story that's being told, because they only exist because of the stories that were told in the first place.
Yes.
Okay? People need to keep that stuff in mind.
Big picture waters of entire galaxies in peril, of inarguable good versus objective evil, and revisit such topics continuously across 3 separate trilogies. The setting itself becomes the focus of the conflict because the conflict puts the setting at stake, therefore oftentimes robbing across 3 separate trilogies. The setting itself becomes the focus of the conflict because the conflict puts the setting at stake.
What?
Therefore,
I
Let me rewind it again.
Forget it. I'd rather not.
Sometimes robbing many of the individual characters room to breathe, properly develop, or be appreciated by the audience. But like The Mandalorian, the Clone Wars micro-series succeeds because the setting is merely there to give interesting context to the focal point of the fiction. In this case...
And you pay attention to the context in this, but you're using the sand quote out of context. And the Chlorians out of context.
War. We spend time with individual characters and see them each in true, unique conflict. And even though I might have spent...
the 3D Clone Wars did the same thing too, except it had a longer runtime.
Only a
I don't see your
8
point.
minutes with Shaak Ti. I felt more for her in that time than I did across all 3 movies with General Hux.
Hey, well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like a laughing stock villain. And Poe telling him off with the yo mama joke.
Good grief.
That's just being a joke in the room, especially when it comes to Snoke.
Yes, I'm the spy. I don't care if you win or not. I just want Kylo Ren to lose. Great writing, Disney.
Great writing, JJ. Do not take me for a conjurer of cheap tricks.
You'll probably play that when you edit this. Yeah.
No, this is StreamYard though. It's gonna go right away.
Okay, gotcha.
So no editing.
At the end of the day, Genndy Tartokovsky more or less succeeded in following the mold of Band of Brothers, a narrative about characters struggling through war, but just inside of Star Wars.
Sector 4 needs reinforcements.
We are being
overrun. Repeat, we are...
Oh, that's like a news report right here with the camera.
Fornard, I really love you, Fornard. Fornard.
Like a shaky camera and such.
Thanks for watching.
That's it. We're done.
If you enjoyed
that went
like, comment, and
well, that went smoother than expected, honestly. Yeah.
Also, I won't be joining your Patreon, so no thanks, Savage Books. I'll pass.
No, thank you.
Or Savage.
Here, I don't really do Patreon anyways.
Guys, where's your Patreon's going woke, so.
I may do it in the future, probably.
Same. Me too. I'll have somebody help me with that, and
yeah,
I'll be honest. I will give shout outs, and for some sort of prizes, I was thinking more of sending them handmade art I do.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I do gift art for people anyways.
All right. So what did we learn tonight, people? That when it comes to filling in the gaps and everything, writers should certainly take notes on what they do so that maybe they'll make something better in the future.
I mean, if you're doing something like, say, a project of some sort of a series that you like or something you want to make on your own, then feel free to take notes, put down things you want in it. Be sure to go back and such of your old work, see what works and what doesn't, and go off from there.
Like my old works, I just made my OC a Gary stew, and I just want to scrap him.
I literally, but I basically made yours a little better. Ty.
My OC Emota, I really want to get rid of that extra tail of mine. I just want to revamp it a little bit to make it more original and less creatively bankrupt.
Say, if you want, I could pretty much do a design for you if you show me what it looks like.
I think I have the pictures. So
All right. I think I shall call it quits.
Yeah.
I feel because I must get
This is Mr. Tyrex.
And the Dragon level 95.
This is Grant Harbor of the Emotional Guy.
Bye, everyone.
And also Cool Call, all right? Don't forget.
And
signing out.
May the force be with you. Let your emotional source sky high. Take care.
Force be with us
Take
all.
care.
And don't listen to Red Letter Media.
Please. Or Confused Matthew.